ഇവിടെ എനിക്ക് എക്സ്ട്രാ.
Yes, let us start. I think this will be joining soon. So, Vaishaki and
Good morning, teacher. I'm already
can
here.
we start the program?
Yeah. I'm already here.
Okay. Ma'am is here. Okay. All right, then. Thank you so much.
Good morning to everyone. Welcome to the international webinar on Purview of Applied Psychology conducted by Department of Psychology, MGC-ARC, that is Mahatma Gandhi College Academic Research Committee, and IQAC.
Now, before beginning the session, we would like to mention some rules that must be followed by the participants. Kindly keep your mic muted during the session. Questions and queries will be answered at the end of each session. One should put in the chat box or raise your digital hand. Link for the feedback will be provided at the end of session, which has to be filled by every participant.
Now I call Anaka S, 3rd DC Psychology, to tell a few words about our college.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, one and all. Now I am here to say a few words about our college. Mahatma Gandhi College was founded by Manath Padmanabhan. The college is affiliated to Kerala University and managed by Nayar Service Society. The institution in TVM having college with potential for excellence award by NAC. Our college has 4,000 students, 13 degree and 8 postgraduate courses. Besides providing research facilities in various disciplines, the college has started an instrumentation course attached to the Department of Physics. We also have 19 clubs and special cells, human rights forum, women's study cell, counseling cell, and our college also have NCC, NSS, and in sports and other art programs. Now about our department. The Department of Psychology was established in 1981. The department encourages individual autonomy, responsive to students' parents' needs and feedbacks, and give ample opportunities for vast exposure to the students. The faculties are eager in developing Indian psychology through various activities. Regular lectures, classes, invited lectures, seminars, yoga classes, and other innovative teaching techniques are used to make students familiar with the advancement of this branch of knowledge. A regular assessment through test helps students to realize their strength and weakness. Each batch of students is assigned the responsibility of coordinating and conducting one program every year, which in turn gives them opportunity for personality development. Warm teachers, students, relationship, and strong alumni render support to the department. It is belief of the department that both the teachers and parents share equally the responsibility of nurturing the future generation. So PTA meets twice in a year. Parents and students are made conversant on the scope and prospects of psychology in their first day in the college itself. Parental expectations are collected in the first meeting. Final year students are doing internship every year at Karuna Sai and the Sanjeevani, SICK, ICANs, Anganwadis, etc. Department also provides counseling for the needed students of other departments. The departments always bagged top position in the university examinations. And our HOD is Dr. Pratibha S. Nayar. And other teachers are Dr. Shubha Sachidanand, Dr. B. Jayaraj, Dr. Anish V. Appu. Thank you.
Thank you, Anaga. Now let's start this webinar with the blessings of Almighty Prayer by Nandana V 3rd DC's Department of Psychology.
There shall be showers of blessing. This is the promise of love. There shall be seasons refreshing, sent from the Savior above. Showers of blessing we need. Mercy drops round us are falling, but for the showers we plead. There shall be showers of blessing, oh, that today they might fall. Now as to God we are confessing, now as on Jesus we call. Showers of blessing we need. Mercy drops round us are falling, but for the showers we plead. Mercy drops round us are falling, but for the showers we plead.
So, to explore more on the vast areas of psychology, Mahatma Gandhi College is conducting this webinar under the aegis of experts in their own field, giving us a better idea and expanding our knowledge all around each session. Once again, I warmly welcome everyone.
Respected Principal Madam, Sriti Madam, the key speaker for the first session, IQAC coordinator and MGC-ARC convener Jaydev sir, and also all the wonderful participants over here, teachers, friends. It's a very pleasant morning. And I'm really happy that we are all here together in this virtual space with the same goal of trying to understand the various areas of psychology. As we know, mostly we tend to look with a narrow vision. Like, we are focusing more on counseling psychology and clinical psychology. We tend to forget the various other opportunities and workspaces related to psychology. So this particular webinar is meant to open our eyes and our vision to more the various diverse areas where psychology students can pursue their PG studies and also career opportunities. And we are so glad that we have got a very good faculty today to speak to us on the 2 days, today and tomorrow. First of all, let me welcome Principal Madam Ampli Madam, who has joined us to give us the inaugural speech and to inaugurate this webinar. We are very grateful to you, ma'am, for giving us this opportunity to conduct this webinar, and we are looking forward to doing much more in your leadership. Welcome, madam.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
And now I'd like to welcome Jaydev sir, who has joined us to give a felicitation. He has done a wonderful job in coordinating this academic research conference, which is done annually. And we take the great pride that we are the first department to be conducting this webinar. Thank you so much, Jaydev sir. We welcome you to this webinar. And
thank you, teacher.
Thank you, sir. Chitra madam, who is the IQAC coordinator. And as we know, any academic institution runs through the eyes of the IQAC. And we are very happy to have you, ma'am, with us to do the felicitation today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
And we also have a most eminent speaker of Sriti ma'am. Sriti ma'am is also happens to be Jairaj sir's classmate. And I think Shubha ma'am's senior. And as soon as we called her, she was ready to join us and speak to us and enlighten and enliven our students. We are very grateful to you, ma'am, for joining us today. Thank you so much. And we welcome you to this program. Last but not the least, all the participants, including teachers from our department, teachers from other departments, students and participants from outside the college, we give you all a very warm welcome. We feel so much proud that all of you have joined us today, and we are going to be together for 2 days. Welcome each one of you to this one webinar. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am, for the welcome speech.
Now, to give the inaugural speech and to declare the webinar inaugurated, I heartily welcome Dr. Ampli M., Principal, Mahatma Gandhi College. Ma'am, please do the honor.
Okay. Good morning, one and all. Respected HOD, Department of Psychology, Dr. Pratibha S. Nair, Research Coordinator and Convener of MGC-ARC, Dr. Jaydev, Sir, IQAC Coordinator, Dr. Jitra V.S., faculty members of Psychology Department, today's resource person, Dr. Shriti Nair, my dear students and the delegates of webinar. Department of Psychology organizes Purview of Applied Psychology, the first program in the webinar series MGC-ARC. Applied Psychology that employs methods and findings of scientific psychology to solve practical problems of human and animal behavior and experiences. It is achieved through the various specialty areas like clinical psychology, counseling services, medical psychology, forensic psychology, etc. Applied psychology is essential because it employs information to improve human life. I hope this webinar gives you some dimensions of applied psychology, and I congratulate the department for organizing such a topic for the webinar series. And with these few words, I declare this webinar as inaugurated. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now we move on to the felicitations. First, we would like to call Dr. Jaydev S., Convener, MGC, Mahatma Gandhi College, ARC.
Good morning, one and all. First of all, let me congratulate Department of Psychology for organizing such a wonderful webinar on international basis, and rightly observed by our principal and the head of the department. This is the first attempt in 2022 by the psychology department. I share my extreme satisfaction in your organization, in your department, and the area covered by the department includes the employability, the educational psychology, sports psychology, OB and HR. This means the psychology department has taken immense pain to identify the core areas in psychology, and truly speaking, this will be highly useful for all the participants and especially the students who are going to find some space in the spectrum of psychology. Being the research coordinator of Mahatma Gandhi College, indeed, I was totally satisfied about the methodology of your organization, and within the limited time when our most respected principal announced the scope of MGC-ARC, immediately, I think the very next day itself, you have responded it positively, and that's why you could organize the program when the inaugural session of MGC-ARC was commenced or started. I wish the program a great success. I also express my deepfelt gratitude to the entire crew members of Department of Psychology, Dr. Pratibha Nair, Dr. Subha Sachidanand, Dr. Jayaraj, and Dr. Anish V. Appu, and all other students of Psychology Department. And also, I express my deepfelt congratulations to all the highly eminent experts in the field of various psychology, And I also express my deepest gratitude to the department itself for giving an opportunity to make this felicitation. Thank you, one and all. Let the program be a grand success forever in the history of Mahatma Gandhi College. Let the God bless you all. Thank you, one and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now we would like to call Dr. Chitra VS, Coordinator IQAC.
Good morning, everyone. Respected Principal, Dr. Amberly Ma'am, respected Coordinator of MGC-ARC, Dr. Jaideep Sir, HOD, Department of Psychology, Dr. Pratibha Ma'am. It is really a grand occasion that Department of Psychology of MG College has organized for us in the next 2 days. Psychology Department of MG College, as you all know, has always pioneered an array of academic events every year. Their inevitable contribution to the quality enhancement of the college is worth remembering. And being the IQAC coordinator, I'm proud to say that whenever any program commences, they are the first to make their announcements regarding any program. As part of the annual research conference this year, the Department of Psychology has initiated a 2-day international webinar, which is an appreciable step. When I saw the brochure, what was worth notable was the topic they have selected for the webinar. Moving away from the basic psychology, they have gone for the applied psychology, which is the topic of discussion for the next 2 days. As we all know, applied psychology is a study of the ability to solve problems within the human behavior, as our respected principal have already mentioned. And we all know that organizing such a webinar is a step ahead in the days of pandemic, when it is a demand of the hour, because in both for the students and for the society, it is a time to tackle with the issues faced in the phase of pandemic, and it is a commendable endeavor in this instance. I think they have for this the session Sriti Nair, who was one of the alumni of this college. That again is a proud thing, because most of the when I analyzed the brochure, what we saw was that the two resource persons for this day are the alumni of this college, and that is really a proud thing. And psychology department actually is one of the respectable departments of our college. Though they have only UG courses, they have gone a step ahead in organizing this 2-day international webinar with international resource persons, and that too, some of them being their students. And that is really a commendable thing. I really wish that these 2 days may provide a real platform for discussion on various aspects of applied psychology and open up new avenues of organizational behavior, which is another main part of the psychology. Thank you, the psychology department, for giving me this opportunity. And it is worth, one more thing I'd like to mention is the teamwork that has been done by the psychology department, the HOD, Dr. Pratibha, Dr. Shubha Sachidanand, Dr. Jayaraj, and Dr. Anish. They have always gone hand in hand in doing their part, and that is a wonderful thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I welcome Dr. Shubha Sachidanand, Assistant Professor, Department of Psychology, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Respected Principal, Research Coordinator, IQAC Convener, Head of the Department of Psychology, my fellow colleagues and students. A very warm good morning to one and all. No duty is more urgent than giving thanks. So let me do my duty. First and foremost, I would like to extend my gratitude to the head of the institution, Ambali ma'am, for her innovative and asking every department to conduct such a webinar so that it can uplift the students' knowledge. Thank you, ma'am, for that. Next, I would like to mention Dr. Jaydeep, the Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, the convener of the research committee, for his seed of thoughts. Because of that, we, the Department of Psychology, implemented it. Thank you, sir, for the thought. Chitra ma'am, the convener of IQAC, as well as the NSS program officer, for her kind and inspiration words. If we are getting such a motivation like this, ma'am, definitely we would like to conduct more and more webinars or seminars like this. As it is a formal function, I would like to say thank you to Head of the Department, Pratibha ma'am, because we are the host of this two-day international webinar. Pratibha ma'am, for helping us in organizing this webinar, and the title which you people mentioned right now, Purview of the Applied Psychology, it was her idea. And definitely she was the one who is fixing whatever that is lacking. Thank you, ma'am, for your timely support. Jara sir, thank you for your presence of mind and the 11th hour help. The brochure which is circulated among you is the work done by the Anir sir during his COVID days. Thank you, Anir sir, for your wonderful brochure which you prepared for us. Now I would like to say thank you to the speakers of the webinar, Dr. Sriti ma'am, Dr. Rahul, Nisha Pratap, Dr. Neetu. Thank you for accepting our request. I would like to mention the name of some of the students, those who are comparing right now, that is Vaishakhi and Suraj and Nandana, who were there with us for the who were there with us for this seminar, for this webinar. And literally, I would like to mention their names separately just to show my unconditional regard to them. Last but not the least, very much thankful to the entire students of the Department of Psychology for their unconditional support and cooperation. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Jairaj sir, can we start the sessions?
Sure. A very good morning to all of you. I would like to welcome Dr. Sriti Ranjit, the Dean of College of Arts and Sciences of Abu Dhabi University. She was the former director of CSLEG Technologies, a digital marketing company. And she studied her bachelor's degree from our college, and she did her master's and PhD from Karyavatam. And she had her schooling in Kendriya Vidyalaya, Pattam. I know her personally because she was my classmate, and she is a wonderful human being, and with a lot of empathy, and I always quote to students that she has reached such heights, and that is a role model for MGC. She is a role model for MGCians for years to come, because she is a dean of an institution, means a much more a greater thing in our times. So informally and formally, both, I'm using both. I'm welcoming Dr. Sriti to start the session. Thank you, one and all. I welcome all the participants, our principal, our IQAC coordinator, Jaydev sir, Chitra teacher, Shubha ma'am, Anish sir, Pratibha teacher, and all the participants and all my students. A warm welcome to all of you. Thank you.
So with all respect to everybody from MG College, first of all, let me thank the Department of Psychology, which was my 3 years home when I was doing my undergraduate program. So thank you for inviting me. Thank you, Jairaj, for thinking about me, and Shubha for contacting me. So I was always thinking that I will be left out when you're doing a session like this, but thank you for inviting me for this. Thank you to Dr. Ambali, Dr. Chitra, and Dr. Jaydev for ensuring that institutions do have such kind of things. So MG College has always been a place where we can do so many things, but I always feel that we lack doing things. So whenever I had opportunities to speak to my fellow colleagues or my classmates from my university timing, I used to always tell them we can do so many things, but we are lacking. And thank you for giving that support to the college, because that's very important that the leadership think differently. Thank you, Dr. Pratibha, for having me in. I want to ask how much time do I have? Because I kind of prepared a presentation where I thought I'm having almost like 45 minutes. I need to know how much.
Please continue, ma'am. I know we are a little late, but excuse us for that. But please continue and take the time you want.
Okay. And before I start, I'm really, I'm kind of sad that all the students are not able to be on a webinar. I'm not a big fan of webinar because being a psychology faculty and working with administration for almost like 7 years now. So I've been with Abu Dhabi University for 15 years now. I've seen system of education in different angle, studied completely in India. I have been born and brought up in varying cities of India because my father was an Air Force man. So I studied in KVs. I have traveled different parts of India. I studied till my PhD in India. I went on to take up a job in UAE. And I have seen, and now I work in an American system of education. And what I strongly believe is human interaction. It's very important that we connect with one another. So COVID has really hit us hard, and we are missing what is called the human interaction element. And I really wish I was in front of you, having all of you together, going back to that auditorium where I have performed, I have spoken, I have given speeches to speak to all of you. It would have been a great pleasure, but that's not happening. So only 100 of you are here. So whoever is listening to me on YouTube, whatever I'm discussing today is from a very broad perspective. And I want you to go back and do some homework after the sessions is done. So my intention is not to give you a complete lecture and just be a listener. You know, auditory learning is not good at all. You're just listening, it doesn't work. So take things from here, reflect and start using. When Shubha approached me asking me to do a session and what is your expertise, can you do a presentation on an area of psychology which is very fruitful and so on, I told Shubha upfront that Shubha, my way of work has changed so much. I have to give you an overview of that first. I'm the Dean of College of Arts and Science, and College of Arts and Science by its name itself incorporates everything. Social science programs, math, applied sciences, biology, chemistry. We have got varying courses in sociology, psychology. We have got education department is under College of Arts and Science. So it's kind of so many things happening. So identifying mass communication is under us, identifying all these things and supporting also the engineering college, College of Business. There are so many things we do. So while we are working with undergraduate students at Abu Dhabi University, we are following an American model, 4 years of education. So very strongly, not only that they are experts in their own subject area, let it be engineering or business or mass communication, they are also experts in, they are also required to do what is called as liberal arts. This is where my competency comes in. My primary role and what I love to do with the students is to engage them and build skills in them for their life and for their future jobs. So I told Shubha that I'm really going to speak to them about what is the workplace environment changing and looking like. So though the topic is all about psychology, I really want to bring into your attention that I'm going to be speaking about what you need to do using your psychology and making yourself competent enough for the workplace. So that's my topic today. Okay. And my question, if you look at the brochure, you're saying, are you ready for it? I'm not going to challenge the system of education. I'm an advocate of telling Indian system and telling that there are so many things we need to change, but I cannot change anything today. So my reflection is what you can do. You as students, what you can do. I'm thankful that the faculty is also sitting with us discussing about it, how the faculty can relook at the ways we are working on doing things. I was very happy to hear that from I think it was the principal, Dr. Ambli, who talked about internship, or Dr. Jaydev, I don't remember, but somebody talked about internship. If internship is part of the program, it is amazing. You really need to get some work experience. But what kind of work experience is varying, because what you get as internship and what you see in real life is very different. So I'm going to start presenting. Sorry to everybody who is not able to participate and only hearing me in YouTube. Please go and make sure that whatever I speak, if you think you can reflect on it, please go reflect on it. And I wish I could come and meet you face to face. With that apology, I will start my presentation. So I'm going to present, and I hate speaking to the screen. I'm thankful that few of you have opened your cameras. I'm able to see their faces. None of the others are on camera, which is kind of totally. I have a request. Please keep your mic muted. Any junction when I'm speaking something, if you think you need to ask a question, please pop in and ask the question. If not, at the end, you can ask the question, but please interact. There is no meaning in my talking to you up front and telling you stories, but I have to ask you to please interact with me. Okay? So I'll start my presentation. Hopefully I'm able to are you able to see?
No, yeah, ma'am. We can.
Okay, good. So I'll start. So if you're able to see, I'll start the session based on. Are you able to see as two things, or are you able to see as single screen? Because I really don't want it to be double screen. Is it a single screen?
Yeah, it's a single screen.
Okay. So let's start with. So my basically what I'm going to be talking about is workplace readiness skills. Okay. So the thing that I'm going to just a minute. I'm just trying to get this sorted out as this, and I want to see you people also. So I'm trying to get that sorted out first. Okay, so I still didn't succeed in that, but I will just try to make sure that I'm able to talk to you. Just give me 1 minute. Let me just fix this, because I think I'm struggling a bit with getting the screen on. Okay, I'm back. I'll just try, because I need to get to see you people. I cannot do the presentation. I'm sorry, I'm just getting this sorted out, okay? Okay, we are ready. So are you able to see now? And I can see you people, see all of you also. So
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
good.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So, I'll not do the slideshow because when I'm doing the slideshow, it is not letting me come in and see you also. So I'll just keep it like that and let's start. Okay. Now, as I said, my topic is going to be this, and I'm presenting in this area. The first thing that I want to tell you is that I'm talking about generic things. Please kindly mute yourself. If you have any question, raise your hand. I will be happy to present to you. What I'm going to discuss today is an overview of the purpose of the presentation. We will be talking about what is actually work readiness and what does work readiness skills mean. Okay. Now, have you seen what is the difference between, and I want you to answer me now. I'm not asking you to just read my slides. I want you to answer me. What is the difference between before COVID and after COVID? What exactly did change? Somebody, what exactly did change before COVID and after COVID?
After COVID, people are people became more familiar with online activities and spending more time online rather than before.
Okay. And my next question is for the faculty. It can be Shubha, Jairaj, or Dr. Pratibha. Anybody can answer me. What did you find it as different pre-COVID and currently in COVID? It's wrong to say after COVID. We are still in COVID. So currently, what is the difference you saw?
We lack a lot of social interaction, especially student-teacher interaction. Very less. And that is the main thing. We cannot see people face to face and teach them. A lot of time is spending on online classes and all.
Okay. Now, to add to that, you are doing a job. Okay. We don't call teaching as a job. Generally, it is not. It's a divine profession. We like to call it as something where it's not a job. We are doing a responsibility, but it is a job. What are the things that you had to bring as changes in your job during this sudden, unexpected change in the way we have to look at things? What did you do to yourself?
I would say first was getting adjusted to this online platform, which was a challenge in itself because we never did that before. So there was a lot of issues like, ma'am, we cannot hear. Then, the sound is breaking and we don't know what is happening at the other end. Whether the students are on the bike traveling, while they have they enter the class, but they're somewhere else. Are they still with us? So we just couldn't connect with them as much as we could in a real classroom.
Okay. So that's exactly the first thing that we were thrown into the deep sea to start learning how to be an online savvy. We all only knew how to use our mobiles, send WhatsApp messages, or pretty much use mobiles for Facebook and other purposes. So even as a faculty, we had to change and adapt to our situation so quickly. Two ways of adaptability. One, we have to upskill our own skills and also expect the students to have all the skills to use online platform. So why I use this as an example is this is what is happening now. With the World Economic Forum having the sessions every year, they do it every year. But in 2018, it was very alarming and very effectively, they had announced the fourth revolution. So we know that we had revolutions in past, industrial revolutions and blah, 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 all those things. So different revolutions happened at different age. So the fourth revolution has happened in the field of industry. And this time it is called the technology revolution. From 1999 to now, the way technology has taken over our life is very drastic and very, very unexpected. If you go and study researchers and read researchers in psychology itself, you will find that a lot of psychologists, like clinical psychologists and people have worked and social psychologists are working on so many things related to how the impact of technology is affecting human behavior. Not only that, the use of concept of artificial intelligence, the use of concept of big data. There are these jargon words you will hear every time and we are like, oh, what is it? We don't care. But I'm alerting the students now. Anybody who is listening to me right now, students who are listening on YouTube, please understand that things are changing. If you really want a job, if you really are serious about. Now, I know, I'm not sure, and I think Dr. Pratibha and all of you would have asked every student who joins psychology departments, do you do psychology? Take an undergraduate program, so you did psychology. So there are very rare group of students who come to really do psychology. And already through some of you who are now doing presentations and who were doing, I think people like Suraj and all who are interested to do psychology. I've got a taste of it already thinking. So people who are interested in psychology also need to understand, even if you choose any path, clinical, education, organizational behavior, care, HR related, counseling, everywhere, the involvement and intrusion of the global impact is huge. Things are changing drastically. So you have to be ready for it. Secondly, nothing is achievable if you don't have two things, attitude and behavior. So I'll go to the next slide. So my whole purpose of today's presentation is to tell you things, and also to conclude, when I conclude, I'll give you some insights of my story about hiring people. And as you, Dr. Jairaj, already addressed, I'm still the director of one of a private company in India, which we started as a family business in digital marketing. But digital marketing business has taught me, when I'm recruiting people from India for my things, how it has impacted. So I'll give you stories from, as a hiring manager, what I am facing. So let's go to the next slide. So as I already told, the purpose of this one, I have 4 outcomes that I want at the end of this presentation. And I really want you students to go and reflect on this one. I'll share this presentation with your teachers. They can share it with you for your record. And definitely, I'm not using any references here, whereas I've referred a lot, but it is just a presentation, so I didn't want to put references. But always remember, when you are doing your research, when you're reading a lot of things, you give credit to the people whom you took the note from. Okay, coming back to this point. 4 things I want from you. I want you to understand, what is the employer looking for. Employer is the job, the place you will go get a job. Who is that employer? What is he looking for? What is their demand? The next one I'm looking at is global trends influencing. There are a lot of things that no more is regional. There is global. We sit in our rooms, we sit in our offices, but everything is trendy and changing. Okay. The next one is identify sample sets, which you have to ask yourself. Am I ready for my job? Where is it that I'm going to work? Where do I fit in? So these are things. The last one is self-assessment and personal plans. If you think you're ready, okay, good, tick. If you're not ready, what do you do? If you're deviating from the norms of what the employer is looking for future, you have to get that ready. I'll start with a story, and then I'll come to you. As I told you, we cater to, in Arts and Science College, and especially we do a lot of courses for future work skills competency. So we have course in design thinking, 21st century skills. We have course in emotional intelligence. We have course in sociology. We have course in critical thinking. So it varies. I had a student, this was around 6 years back, okay? And I have been dean for 7 years. This was my first year into finishing deanship. And when students come, we do orientation for them. All the students, newly admitted UG students, we do orientation. There was a group of students, they were so distracted when we were talking. So, you know, Jairaj knows me, Shubha knows me. I'm a very strict person. I'm very fair. He said, I'm empathetic, but I want students to learn. I want them to evolve. So I was a bit upset with them and I said, what are you doing? So they were discussing. So I told them, okay, speak up. So they asked us, and these students were 2 of them going into mass communication, 2 are going into engineering, and other few of them they're all friends with each other, and other 3 are going to business school. And they asked, do you think, ma'am, that in next few years, we will, like when I graduate from ADU, this is my first year, I will graduate in 4 years. When I graduate, do you think you are making us ready for the future job market? Whatever is the job out there today is the same job I'm going to get in next 5 years. My friend is taking mass communication. I'm an IT engineer. I want to do things where we do media and communication together. I want to do things where I'm looking at business prospects for these things. It just came like you get, so it was kind of that feeling for me that the student who is a first year student is asking me this question that, will I get the job that is out there? Or maybe the job is the same as it is today in 5 years? And this question was to me 7 years back. And what I'm noticing now that students are so different. If you sit in a class, if you come to a class and think that as a teacher and think that, oh, we are going to deal with a few group of students who know nothing, we will teach them all psychology, we will talk to them about cognitive psychology, OB, we will talk to them about Maslow's hierarchy of motivation, and they will get their grades and they will go. They will get their grades. But remember, behind their back, they will tell you, what is this teacher doing? Is she or he thinking, what exactly am I supposed to do with all these things in my career? Linking that to workplace is very important. So this is one story I want to share, and I'm sharing a video with you. Let me know if you can see it. Okay, so somebody please let me know if you can see the video, because it will take you to. Are you able to see?
No, ma'am.
Yes or no?
No, ma'am.
No, no.
Not visible.
Not visible.
Okay, 1 minute. I will stop sharing, and then I will stop sharing and I'll share this video again to you. Just give me 1 minute. Are you able to see now?
No,
Not
ma'am.
it?
No, no, no.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so it's a link. So I'm trying to connect the link to this one. And let me cancel this. I have to go to your screen. See, this is technology. We have been using technology, but I do struggle with all these things. I wish I was just in front of you.
You'd love that, ma'am.
Yeah.
Do come in person one day.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. I was telling this to Jairaj also that whenever I'm coming to India, I'll definitely love to come visit the students. I'm struggling a bit to get that video on. Not this one. Because the video is also going to Google. It's giving me hard time to get it to. No, I think there are, in my presentation, I have a couple of videos also, which I really wanted you to see. This to show you how things have changed. Okay, let me just continue my because I don't want to waste time. Also, that's another issue right now.
You could always send us the video. We can post it in the WhatsApp group for the kids to see later.
Yeah, no, I really will send you the whole presentation, which has the link. The students can open it and see it. I'll just PDF my presentation. That's the only thing I generally do. But definitely, I would ask you to. Now you started seeing the presentation, right? Okay, it's back. Okay, now, so that was my story, and the video is linked to the story where it is showing that how during COVID, and it's coming from World Economic Forum, where they are showing about what is changing. So if the rest of my presentation is constructed based on what is being told. Now, also I do have got some research backups. I've done a few things here. I work with alumni, the students who graduate. We work with them, we give them upscaling activities. When we change the curriculum in the college, or we look at a syllabus and how we want to do it through accreditation body asking us to change, we always go back and talk to the employers and these two alumni who have already been graduated and working somewhere. So this kind of has given us a lot of input on things that we should be doing. So let's go to the next one. Okay. So the next one is, what is actually workplace readiness? So what do you mean by you are ready for workplace? Oh, I graduated, I've got my degree, I'm all set. No. We have to understand that what does it mean to be work ready and what are the general setup. As I already told you, the three things that you're looking for here is your cognitive and non-cognitive cognitive skills. Now, do you want me to explain what is cognitive and non-cognitive? Being psychology, if I was not addressing psychology students, I would be saying, okay, I'm sitting here explaining what cognitive and non-cognitive is. Your first general psychology itself teaches you all about cognitive things. But just to put it in simple layman's word, or even for you to simplify and understand, things you acquire using your brain and your skills and everything that you acquired. So language, when you're acquiring skills related to able to do something. So even the knowledge, vocational knowledge. So psychology has a vocational knowledge, engineering has a vocational knowledge. So these are things cognitive. Non-cognitive is things that are skills that is outside the basket of just you got it because you trained it. You cannot see, it's like telling that leadership is a skill. You can develop it, but you need to have it in you. So there's always a debate. And psychologists would have always talked about this. Is it the nature or the nurture that is giving you the difference? So same way, in non-cognitive ones, there are so many skills that you will train yourself for, but you naturally need to get yourself. This is where you self-assess. This is where comes the importance of, are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert? These are all jargon, old words. These are not used in system anymore. Do you have the strength, weakness? Nobody uses the word weakness anymore. Do you have abilities, and do you have abilities that needs to be improved? Everything abilities. We have abilities in different ways. When ability is lesser, we call it as you're not efficient enough in that. So that's what we are reflecting here. Now, what in this we are trying to look for is that it's generally defined as a set of personal qualities, people skill, and professional qualification. So do you have it in you? Do you have personal qualities? X student is different from Y student. My first theory is that when I'm dealing with students, no students are alike. They are not similar. Similarly is in your employability. See, I'm having a college where I have got 120 people working under my area, in which 68 of them are full-timers and remaining are part-timers. Part-timers have a different way of behavior. Part-timers means adjunct, guest lecturers who work for us. And the 68 of them who are working with as full-time, they have a different set. In this, I have a different set of people. My chairs, I have 6 chairs in departments. They all behave differently. It is such a difficult thing to manage this. But then I think I'm managing people. Every people is different from one another. So here, this is the fundamentals, and this is where psychologists have got, like you as psychology students know it better than another group of students. And what's interesting is that whatever I'm telling you here, you can be leaders in that, in training other students who are taking other majors also. If a psychology student is not able to achieve what I'm telling you today, then nobody else can do it really. Because we are learning it in theories. What is only required is application of all these things in our real life. Okay, now so we are going into 3 things. As I already told you, your personal qualities. As I said, there is no disqualification in any manner. You may have a little bit of areas where you're really good, and there are some areas where you're really weak. You just need to adjust it accordingly and upscale it. All your skills are not required in all the areas, but you need to balance it off. People skill very important, and professional qualification very important. Now, you may disagree with me now with the fact that if you ask Google last 3-4 years, Google and Facebook and Amazon has recruited people with 0 degree qualification or just high school graduates. What they were looking was for a specific skills and competency. This is where we say talent. This is called talent hunt. If you have 100 students, 2 may be talented, 98 may not have the talents, but they have the skills that you can develop. Everybody cannot be a leader, but we have a group of people whom you need to work. Our final aim should be, how can I get my student employed? What should you do as a student to employ yourself? This is what we are discussing here. So let's go to the next slide where you are looking at what is your K career quantum. That means where did you start? Where did you go? Now this is where I have still got disagreement with our system of schooling. And I'm sorry, but I'm really surprised to hear that you are involving parents in your education. One thing we don't do in American system of education. In higher education, we do not involve parents. Why? Because after age of 18, or let's say 17 years onwards, they are becoming young adults. They have to be responsible. How do you get them to be spoon-fed? How do you get them to be still dependent on their parents? And why do we give the importance that parents are investing? So because of that, they should know. They should know. That's the authority's responsibility. Inform them. But giving them the freedom, giving the students the freedom to think is very important. So involvement of parent from K-12 to K. I studied in MG College. I don't remember a day when I was told that bring your mother with you, or if you're naughty, yes, you will be asking to bring your mother or father with you. But otherwise, I'm not sure. So in all those things that you said, Pratibha ma'am, I'm not in agreement of involving parents and decision making, because you need to trust your students. You need to get them to be independent. You need to get them out there. So what I'm showing here, the trajectory is K-12, which is the schooling, then your post-secondary success, which is the which is a university life career. Some of us decide to be undergraduate, some do masters, some do PhD, and then the workplace success. This is K2 career success. What we do, we try to work with our students when they are in college. We forget you have to work with them from schooling. I'm not going to expand much here, but this is to give you an overview that research has proven, studies have proven, experiences have proven that it's very important that from childhood we start inculcating what is important for our growth of the kids. They come into university, this is what we need to do. So we are getting them ready. So don't think you can do all these things in a day, but don't be disappointed. There is still room for us to look at what we can do and improve ourselves for the next level of things. So this is one of the things we are missing in our school system. And if you open door to me to talk about that, I'll talk a lot and I'll be too critical, but I'm not going to discuss that today. That's not my topic. But I still suggest rethink about how you want to get parents involved in this one. Now, the K career quantum, what we are trying to tell here is that what exactly are the 3 to 4 things that you really want to do. One, there are several pathways. You prepare individuals through university degree, job training, on-job training, work experience, professional qualification. Pathways are varying. One, okay, you need to identify the right pathway. Very important. The next one is formal education. And it's very complex. We are trying to say whether we are able to apply the knowledge and skills. I have a question, Pratibha ma'am. We are still having the final exam, which is 100 marks, right? Where the exam is coming from the university. Anybody can answer. So Shubha, Jairaj, anybody?
Yeah, there is a final exams happening. But there's a semester. So exams every semester end. So it's no more yearly. Yeah, it's no more yearly. So we have every semester ends, we have examinations.
Yeah, but this exam is conducted by the university.
By the university.
Yeah. What's your role in that?
We actually now we have a system where 80% is for the exam conducted by the university, and there is a 20%, 20 marks internal marking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. So you still have a control of things on 20 marks. It's not about the control I'm talking about. It's about still we are in the old system of education where we think about summative assessment of the tools. So you are just putting the students, so the whole year the student can be doing whatever he likes or she likes and not bothered, not engaged, nothing. And then they are just suddenly getting, the final exam is coming around the way, they log themselves, study, get the grades. Okay, I got 75%, I'm done. What did the student really learn? So there is no control on your side except for that 20% attendance or internal assessment thing. If the student decides I don't need the 20%, I only need the 80% in which I can make a 60, 70%.
Not possible. Not possible, because the student has to pass in both internal and the external marking. They need
even
to. Yeah.
Okay. So if that 20% is that, still what is a passing grade in 20%? 50?
8 out of 20. Yeah, 8 out of 20 to pass.
So that 8 is the minimal they will do. So what I'm trying to say is that the system needs to change, where there should be an inclusiveness, where the faculty who is teaching is able to get them to learn more things. Even attending this webinar, how are you going to ask them to attend this webinar? If they are interested, they do it. You try to say that, okay, this will be assessed. No, I'm not being critical about it, but I'm just saying that it's high time we look at the way we are having formal education where knowledge to skill is decided. And what I was trying to say is we are still in the knowledge-driven system of education. We acquire knowledge. We keep acquiring knowledge. This is all those. And for that, I'm sorry, but for that, we don't need teachers. We don't need schools. We don't need universities, because it's all out there in the world as information explosion. I don't need a teacher. This is where I challenge my faculty all the time, asking them, why do you go to the class with the same information that the student gets from Google? Getting them to use it and use it skill-based is where we have to change. And this is what the students need to get also. Next important point, as I told before, is there are only 2 mantras in getting your work skills ready: your own behavior and your attitude. Your attitudinal skills. What is your attitude? I don't care, whatever. And the problem with our system in India right now is that kids are supported by the parents. If you get these things done by the parents, I don't have a proper job. You don't worry, I have earned enough for you. You just, so that nesting, taking them into the whole thing, putting them in that control shell is getting too much in India, where parents' involvement is getting more and more, and there is no eagerness in students that if I fail, I have to stand up and repeat and get things. Tolerance is minimizing. There is lack of tolerance. Whatever happened in Kerala the other day in a marriage dispute, and then immediately bomb was. I was sitting and thinking how intolerant we all are becoming. Our lack of patience, our lack of ability to be critiqued, our lack of being in a social area where right and wrongs are okay is missing out. This is very important, and the world is becoming very intolerant, and the same if we have a bunch of intolerant people, things will become more waste. This is where behavior and attitude comes into play. The next one is a definition of work readiness, which you can just read it and understand, but I'm just quickly reading it for you. The work readiness individual possesses the foundational skills ready to be minimally qualified for a specific occupation, determined through a job analysis and occupational profile. Now, this is where, I keep telling this to our students, and this is very important. If you start looking at any job interviews that students go to, nowadays, they are asking one thing: we don't want to know what you got as grades. 70%, 100%, 80%, that's not their problem. What are the other competencies you have in you? What are you good at? If you tell them, I'm good at doing a stage show, I've been an artist, I do drama, I'm comparing, I do. By giving those extra elements, gone is the time when old time they will say, you have all these things, who cares how much marks you have, that is gone. Now, if you are telling them you have all this additional competency in you, they understand that, the employer understands that, okay, you can look at things from a different angle. That's what is being assessed. So gauging co-curricular or extracurricular transcript, what we call it as credits, is very important. That credits can be in the form of certificate, attending programs, getting involved in the, you are not good, everybody cannot be good in everything. But as in my introductory statement, I said, find what you're good in, find what you want to do, and start upscaling it. These things but I'm just refreshing your memory. Now, coming to the next thing, 6 key interrelated trends. I'm just letting you know global trends influencing workplace readiness now. You may be sitting and thinking, why is Dr. Sriti talking about, or Sriti talking about things that is international? You may think, I'm in Kerala. My thought is to get a job next to my house, very close, if possible, next to my door. I'll take a job and I'll just work from there. I get the salary. That's more than enough. If this is your motivation, I'm talking to the wrong audience. I think I'm talking to a group of youngsters who are very competent, who want to do something in future, who want to prove that you have the ability. If I'm talking to such a group of people, you have to think differently. You need to understand that job is globally available now. You cannot stop a person from Brazil applying for a job in India. Same as you cannot be stopped from applying for a job in Brazil. The job sector is changing. I'm not talking politics here, but the way India is going to and the way it is foreseeing development, privatization is coming into things. Employers are looking at things from a different measure. Many a times, because of my research area, I'm invited to talk about what should be the bridging between employers and the university. And one thing I have heard from employers is that, and I can give you an example of Tata Consultancy, the Malappuram Finance, the areas where I have done talks. I even spoke with IIM Kozhikode. I was in IIM Ahmedabad. Everywhere, what they are lacking now, employers, they don't have the funding to train you. Okay, we will recruit you, we will train you, and then we will put you. Gone is that time. They are looking for minimal skills. They want to train only those possess the skills so that their efficiency, their time spent is limited. So this is where you need to understand, even if you decide to be an OB person, you want to be a clinical psychologist, nobody is going to train you. The training happens by self, where you have to assess what you really want to do. So that's the next challenge we have. So my context of the next 3 slides are talking about 6 areas of things that you need to look at. The first one is information revolution. I already told you the amount of information that is out there, locating them and understanding them, self-assessing them, making sure that you know what are the things you can present. And this is where I'll tell you my story of being a hiring manager for my digital marketing company. Recently we were looking for a CEO for the company because the old CEO left. Till today, I have not been able to find a CEO properly. It's not about the finance. Digital marketing is all about using an online platform to market. The problem I'm facing, MBA graduates from here, there, they are having experience. They don't have basic skills of communication. They don't have basic skills of using information and translating it and convincing. So those skills that you really need for that job is missing. So even to date, that position is vacant in my husband's company where I'm supporting. So I have seen that. Here in my university, I am recruiting faculty in media production and broadcasting. I have not found a faculty. Only in paper they look nice. They are not the ones who can transform the students. So there is challenges in that area also. Will I recruit a faculty and spend 2 years training them by the time is flying away and we don't? No, I will not do that as an employer. I will do minimal training. So this is the next thing. So information is available. Are you able to use it? This is the question. So the first thing they are looking for readiness is your ability to dissect the information available out there and ensuring that this is addressed to. The next thing there is automation. Everything is getting automated. Have you ever experienced this thing that, you were talking to your friend about a topic and the next moment in 2 to 3 minutes, you're getting a lot of information coming through Google about that topic? Have you experienced it? That's the level at which technology is influencing us, because our phones are sometimes dangerous. It is having that Siri and whatever is called in iPhone has Siri, and the other one, what is Google's person's name? Google something. Anyway, that's not the topic here, but they capture things and give you information. Automation is all over the Google Assistant. Thank you. So there is so many automation that is taking place that why do you need to recruit a person if that person can do that? This is where you as psychology students make a difference. Machines can do things, but machine cannot emotionally think. Machine cannot socially interact. Machine cannot empathize. Machine cannot look at the attitude of a person and help out. All our jobs related to psychology is very safe for future. However, we should be able to interpret automation. So you need to have the skill of automation interpretation. So that's where. So, I keep saying, I will always recommend students go take psychology. This is the future. Just like AI is increasing, there is 3 other components. You need resilience intelligence, you need emotional intelligence, social intelligence. These are all competencies that people are looking for. Resilience is to get to deal with these situations. Some people cannot deal with situations. They're stressed out and they get into psychological illnesses. They need support. We are there to support them. So there is this is like a cycle. Now, so automation is the next thing that is becoming very complex. It is becoming something that we have to be ready for the changing. Every minute it's changing. So if you're sitting there and telling, no, I'm not going to do that. Let's say that if your teachers did not want to adapt to the online technology and things, will you be having classes for the last 2 years? No. So it's important that we all develop ourselves in that area. The next one is globalization and rapid and continuous innovation. Globalization, I gave you already a taste of where we are and what is happening. You need to understand that employees need to be able to work collaboratively with any group of people from any part of the world, and the work environment is completely changing. So knowing your culture, knowing your environment, knowing your situation is very important. This is where adaptability comes into play. And we are a single global world. Social media's influence, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, ask me what and all. There will be more than that. India will have another set of hundreds of things. This is talking to each other. The time we spend on mobile is more than the time we spend talking to each other. Our platform is becoming more. So what I'm trying to bring is that technology has got us more into a very smaller confined area. We are no more, and COVID spread because of globalization. When Spanish flu came in 1919, only ship was the biggest transportation mode. And by the time a ship reaches from one place to another, the impact of the flu will be reduced. So even then people died. Transporting people from one place to another was very minimal during the Spanish flu. Whereas now COVID spread, and it spread all over the world because of the way we are transporting ourselves. We carry ourselves. We all were like fish out of water when we were asked to lock down. Things have changed. So, but that is transportation. But in sitting in your room, you are a part of a globe. You are not part of Trivandrum, next to MG College, Keshwadasapuram, or next to your house. No, that's not your world anymore. You get to know information very quickly. You can be manipulated by the information very quickly. You will get wrong information very quickly. So there is an impact of globalization. Next is rapid and continuous innovation. Things are changing. How many of you have the latest phone with you? How many of you have the latest phone with you? Somebody answer.
Latest is how latest?
Shiva, thank you for saying that. Latest is how latest. The one that is going to be in the market tomorrow. That's the latest at which we are with software, with gadgets. Right? Even when you have a fully functioning phone, you still want to go for the latest gadget. This is where things are changing accordingly, where the use of the innovative things influence us so much, and we try to adapt to that. So here, if you don't bring new ideas into things, if you don't add new elements into things, this becomes challenging for us. We are not able to, we will not be able to get students or even employers be agreeing that, oh, I need to keep Suraj for the job. I need to keep Shubha for the job. I need to keep Anamika for the job. There is a whole rush of new people coming in. They will go away. Please do understand that if you want to be a clinical practitioner, private or even in a sector where you need to first create yourself to be known by others. And how do you create? Okay, let's say again, I'm sorry, I'm picking a few names only. Some of your names are not even appearing. So I'm Suraj, it's not that I'm after you, I'm just using your name. So if I have Suraj and I have, let's say, Vaibhav in the other side, two of them, clinical psychologist. If they don't have their own uniqueness of doing things, how are they going to be in the same market doing clinical psychology? You need to be different from one another. You may say you're specialized in an area, but even in that specialty, you need to upscale yourself. This is where creative mindset and being innovative is very important. And if you are planning to do a own business, you want to be a self-employed person, you have to be highly creative. The way you look at things have to be different from the others looking at things. The last two elements are organizational restructuring and time and power shifting. Organizations are not functioning the way it used to function in past, where you have, this is the lead, this is the CEO, then we have 4 other people, then the rest of the people. No, it gets restructured every time where you are trying to engage in and ensuring that there is. So that's why, we learned during COVID that you can still run an effective system by sitting at home. You may be more self-sufficient when you're working from home than taking a trip 2 hours, going to your workplace or doing that. Each sector has different kind of job roles. There are so many sectors, those. So in 2 of my videos later on, you will see how even education is kind of looking at differently. I'll give you an example also from my own experience. We have at the College of Arts and Science here, a center called Academic Success Center. We are in charge of the center where we support students who are struggling with courses in areas of math, science, English. You know that because Arabic region, English is not a native language. Neither is ours as English is native language. But our schooling structure is very good that at least we know to read and write properly. Our speaking skills still needs to be upskilled back in India. Even sometimes reading and writing is not okay, but I'm coming to Arabic world is more challenging. So English is one area where we have to upscale them. Applying science is something. So we have the Success Center, which gives tutoring, which gives sessions for students. We give them one-to-one tutoring support. Lot of students work there. This is another interesting thing. They make extra money. They work in that centers to support their peers. So COVID happened, we all were like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Because we have a best infrastructure, we have a place, a space. But believe it or not, my team, which included the students, reformed into a hybrid format, an effective hybrid formatting of functioning. And the number of students who attended the tutoring session was more in hybrid than face-to-face. When we say hybrid, we meet them once in a while, but remaining at their convenience, we give them tutoring. It changed. So we had to adapt. This is showing that how a well-developed structure due to a reformation, due to a change, can be completely restructured. Google is an example. The workspace is changed completely. So you are looking at how the workspace needs to relate to things. So organization structure is drastically changing. So today, if you go and pick up a job, your title was a manager. Tomorrow, you will not be called a manager. You will be called a person who is the project lead. They'll just change the title because the job requirement is changing. The last but not least is time and power shifting. Yes, time is shifting fast. If today I am in UAE time, ahead of 1.5 hours behind you. For you, I think already it is hitting to 11 o'clock. For me, it's 9:40 in the morning. I'm because we are affiliated to American accreditation board. We are affiliated to California. Believe it or not, when we have meetings with them, it is after 7 o'clock in the evening here. Many times we have sessions at 2 in the morning where we cannot do, we have to adapt to it. So things are changing so drastically that we have to do that. Now, power shifting is where the dynamics of world is changing. This is where politics, this is where power of, private institutions always have this concept of we need to be the lead in things, we need to be the best in things, are changing. So we have to adapt. Anybody in this group who is willing to go join OB or in organization where you are planning to, there is a lot of scope for psychologists to work in OB. Okay. But still you need to be very much aware of this thing, which is the organizational structure and the power dynamics. You should be competent in that to understand so you can advise people. People who are in HR do that all the time. Human resources is all about dealing with one another. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay, I'm sorry, I had to take that call. It's just 1 second it took. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so now let's go to the next part of our presentation, which is, now here, I'm not going to spend time with you explaining each part of it, but just to tell you, what I did was I took various researchers from people, World Economic Forum, I looked at varying elements and listed out a list of 23 different things that you should look at and start reflecting. It is divided into 3 groups. One is personal qualities and abilities. Next one is interpersonal skills. And the third one is professional competency. If you touch each one of them individually, and this is the list of work readiness skill for future, okay, what we are looking for future, where we are currently, what we are looking for future. Creativity, innovation, I already touched on that. Critical thinking, problem solving. I'm sorry again, but I have to use this example of you getting parents involved. I'm using my personal example here. I have only one daughter. She's graduating from school this year. She's in grade 12 now. She's doing international baccalaureate program. It was an argument in the family. Everybody is becoming a doctor. She will be a doctor. So in 4 years, in the last 4 years, she made it very clear that I'm not going to be a doctor. I have my choice of career. I want to do designing, and she. If you see my background, it's her artwork. She's really good at arts, and she's very good at product designing also. So fine. Then the debate came: will she go back to India? Will she? So when we were looking for Indian universities, it was very challenging to find the things that she wants to do, what she's dreaming to do, because we still have a traditional approach of schooling. So finally we decided, okay, she'll go to US because US is where there is so many other diversities there. While she's doing the program, she wants to do psychology also because she's taking psychology as a subject. I didn't influence her. She loves the subject. So she wants to do that. She's so much into it. And her justification is that if I don't know human behavior, if I don't understand how human interaction works, how am I supposed to do designing using arts, designing using, so because at the end it is for human beings. So I need to know psychology, mama. I said, fine. So she's going to US to do the studies. And while preparing, I did not get involved in her application. I did not get involved in her decision making. I was a listener. We used to have arguments. We used to have very critical arguments. It doesn't mean I'm a super mother. No, I get angry. I get irritated. I get frustrated because she's such a disorganized child. Everything is done by her grandma in past, and now she's like, Mama, please do it for me. So it happens. Why I'm bringing this example is because our parents have so much to influence us. Parents start, and I am a good example of then time, and your faculties, Jairaj and Shubha, everybody will agree with you. We all had our battles to do psychology. Some of them, because people used to think, why are you doing psychology? What will you do with psychology in your life? But believing in us, so parents believing in us and trusting us is very fundamental in a person's life, because that helps you build what is called as your ability to take risk and solve problems. Letting you do things, which is something that we are missing in our life back in India. This will be a big challenge. So the critical thinking you may have, but problem solving you lack because your parents solve it for you. You don't even have to speak, before that it is done. So that's why I'm telling you that you can have parents come, but they should come to see the success of the students. They should not come to judge everything in between. I have a hand up. Shubha, please go ahead. Shubha, your hand is up. You have a question. You're muted.
No, it was by mistake it happened.
Okay. So this is where I think it's very important to take decisions independently, think rationally, and solve problems. Problem solving is, and from childhood, I say that kids should not be, and when you're developmental psychology and you will be learning all those things, you should allow students, you should allow people to do that. And in your case, reflect on it and try to understand, am I able to? But that doesn't mean today you will go fight with your family and say that this presenter told that we should solve our own problems. Talk to them, try to take decisions. In workplace for future, nobody is looking at people who will only follow. They are looking at people who will be able to take risks and solve problems. Initiative and self-directive. If others are doing things for you, how can you initiate and direct yourself? So being independent is very important. Work ethics, integrity. What is the difference between integrity and work ethics? Anybody? Have you heard the word integrity and work ethics? You may think that integrity and work ethics are the same. It is the fruit of the same, this one, but it is a bit different from one another.
Integrity is framed by ourselves, but work ethics,
your culture, your social norms, your value system, your family, this one, your religion, everything. It's a total. It's a socio-cultural value system that leads to integrity, where you are doing the right thing even when nobody is seeing. You are not cheating and doing your exams fairly and very efficiently. These are all falling under integrity. Work ethics is where you have a professional code of conduct. You have a professional list of things that you need to follow, and you follow it very effectively and very efficiently. You're not a manipulator. You don't play around with that. This is not easy to find. This is not easy to find. So that's why, nowadays it has become one of the requests by employers is to test you on your work ethics. So this is personal qualities and abilities. Now let's go to interpersonal skills. That is, you as a team. If you see the background picture that I have put, why I put that picture, though the reflection is blaring the writings, is because you are not an individual by yourself. We are a social being. And this is what happened when COVID happened. We all siloed ourselves. So coming back to real life, working together is very important. So, but interpersonal skills, you have to know. Conflict resolution. If only, I'm sorry, I accidentally clicked. You're still seeing the presentation, no?
Yes, we can see.
Yeah. Okay. See, just if only there was people with tolerance and agility and resilience to understand the situation, what happened in the wedding in Kannur, where bomb was thrown, an argument just on a song, which led to an argument, the conflict was never resolved. Unfortunately, this is very challenging in workplaces. I have so many incidences that happens. Faculty fighting with each other. We have issues with upper management, and because we have 4 colleges, 4 deans, the deans don't get along, we will have a problem. There are conflicts between colleges. So conflict resolution is very important, even between that is, don't think it is not there it's only a Kerala style thing. No, it is international. In workplace it happens. To be able to resolve conflict and to move forward in a very sensible manner, they're looking at all this as competency. Interpersonal is conflict resolution, listen and speaking. It's like melodrama. Serial. Just like at home, people are not willing to listen. They don't want to speak up also. Not good. You should be very strong and able to give your opinion with foundation of facts behind it. You should be able to speak up. One of the things I would really want education institutions to do is upscaling students to know how to present them professionally, speak, not shishing them off and going forward. I think in past, in our schools and in colleges, we had those things, but I don't know, that patience is going away and nobody's wanting to do that. We need to do that. Respect for diversity. This is where globalization comes. You know how many nationalities I'm working with? I have got people from all continents that I'm working with. I'm so happy that I'm able to learn this. I'm learning the culture. I'm able to adapt to them, learn things accordingly, and then change my approaches. We have 83 nationalities in the university, not just the Arabs. We have people from different part of, because this is a migrant country where people come from different part of the world. The Emirati population is only almost 1.2 billion. Rest of the billions are all the expats. So we have got people from different regions. They all bring their own value system, culture. Diversity is very important. You have to get adapted to that. Next one is customer service orientation, which is, if you are working, when you say customer, student is not a customer. For your job, I'm saying, when you go into a job, everybody you serve to is becoming a customer. You can have a department being your customer because you're serving to them. You can have others. So if you think that customer is only in businesses where you are selling a product, or no. Customer here means anybody you are serving is a customer. You are serving that person. So don't take it in the other way. So your ability to serve others, interact with one another, and show that sympathy and behave accordingly is very important. So this is another interpersonal skill. And last but not the least, most importantly, teamwork. We are not individuals. We are an individual in a group. Working together as a team is very important. I was happy to hear that you have been recognized by the institution for rushing and getting things done and able to get this webinar sorted out. And this happened only because you worked as a team. But you need to teach this to the students. You need to make them ready for workplace where they're looking at your ability to work collaboratively, respect thoughts, give opinions, and contribute. So that's another. So this is interpersonal. The last one is professional competency. Looking at things from a bigger picture, which is like, you earned your degree. I'm sorry, but I'm not demotivating you, but whatever I studied in the textbooks, half of the things I forgot. I remembered it because now I'm back in education industry. I teach students. I decided to take education psychology as my field of expertise, and then I decided to be in education. So that's where. But if you ask me to go into a class and teach cognitive psychology, I will have to take a week off and prepare myself because I don't read cognitive psychology every day. As I told you, my area is working with students on workplace companies. So my reading, my understanding is more into that. So you need to look at whatever you decided to choose your career path as, you need to be updated. Look at it from a very broad perspective. You cannot be siloed. Gone is the time that's where certification, Learning every time, your ability to know things better is very important. You cannot say that, okay, today, because ever changing volatile world is asking you to adapt yourself and learn every time. So don't you ever think that I finish my degree, I'm done, I don't have to learn. No, whichever job field you took and you are having a career trajectory to go to, you have to upscale your skills every time. Where you have to, why you do that is because you have to look at the things from a very broad perspective. You have to have ability to manage your life and manage your career. This is one thing I have to tell you, that gone is the time when you will have pension. Gone is the time when the employer will give you gratuity, benefits and other things. Nowadays, employers are bothered about attracting talents, make use of them and move on. If you don't know to manage your life, you are having a problem. Employers will not help you do that. Though lot of international, UNESCO, UN, everybody is working towards having employers follow a system of human resource management, where they are asking that employers should be given time. That's why, do you know that UAE has gone into a system of 4.5 days week? Because they think that it is more efficient. Finland and Netherlands already did that long time back. Japan is coming into the role of having 4 days week. So there are systems changing, looking at what. Now this is to give more family time. People who fail in family and own life also fail in career at some point. So there should be a balance act. This is something that we cannot teach, but we can guide, and that can be done. Continuous learning and adaptability. I already told you about that when I said looking at big picture, it is interrelated. Next is efficiency and productivity. Okay, what are you efficient in and how do you prioritize? This is where organizing. It's like organizing yourself is very important in this matter. The last one, it's a continuation of professional competency, is information literacy, very important. I keep repeating one thing, and I keep this telling to all youngsters, please do understand that social media is not the real platform for information. It's very important to learn to factually dissect the information that comes to you. Do not take information as black and white. It is manipulated, it is played around. You should have the ability to use that. This is where the information literacy is important. How literate are you? Your ability to use the information in the right way. Information security, cyber security, blah, blah, blah. All those things are coming into huge play. Why? Because your information is getting leaked out. Your personal space is intruded. So your ability to use those secured way of handling in workplace also becomes very competent. This is not for your personal things alone. We are saying that it is important for your professional life. Okay. Next one is your ability to know information technology. So see, information has been divided into 3. Your ability to use information in the right way, your ability to secure the information, and technological use. Even if you're a psychologist, you should be knowledgeable about technology. I'm still learning. Okay. I'm still learning. I'm having my own areas where I'm working, and I'm trying to get things sorted out. Now, so technology is something that I'm upscaling myself a lot. Now, coming to the next one is so 3 things in information I already told you. Job specific tools and technology. That means what job you're going to. If they're using a technology, it is very important that give me 1 minute. My provost is calling me. I have to tell him I'm in a webinar. I just texted him. Okay, so job specific tools and technologies, which is every job requires certain skills which is specific. So anytime you're applying for a job, think and do a homework and make sure that that is taken care of. Now, the next one is your ability to take care of math. Now, all of you would have a shock. Are you doing statistics as a subject or no?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They are learning statistics.
Yeah. So are you really thinking about it seriously or not? You're thinking about it. Now, why I'm saying it is because the artificial intelligence and data analytics, as I told you in past, is taking a role in everything we do. Even doctors in future have to have skills in engineering, because artificial intelligence will come into play on using giving medicines after surgery, post and pre-surgery analysis, and give them the equipments that they use. There is machines being devised for diabetic patients that can be inserted in their body, which will inject insulin at a certain time, every time in the day, to monitor them and give you, and it will be attached to a device like a watch. So there is so many other technology related things coming in. Same way, neurology and neuroscience is playing a key role in the area of psychology and addressing those matters. And this is a huge broad spectrum of things that people do in the area of psychology, where brain, neuro related things, in all these things, AI is playing very important role. Big data analytics is playing very important role in analyzing the data and seeing how we can collaborate and collect things. To make the story short, what I'm trying to tell you is you need to understand that math is becoming like a fundamental part of our life. I know when you came, in my KV's time, I did math and science in my school. And when I was doing math, I was hating it all the time, but I did it and I somehow managed to pass it. I was not an outstanding student or things. I was an average student at school. But when I did psychology, I made it a point that I'd study well because I loved it. I loved studying psychology. Not all, I hate cognitive psychology even now. I love the part of OB. I like the part of development psychology, education. There are so many other areas in psychology which really I'm happy to I'm very happy with. But in cognitive, the only thing I like is consciousness, nothing else. Anyway, coming back to this one. Why I'm saying this math is becoming important is for you to know basics and fundamentals of using that. And I'm giving you this example because I studied math and I knew to use numbers in school. Statistics was easy for me. Because I studied statistics at school, and when I went to a master's and when I'm at university, it is helping me in data analytics. I work with data. I look at students' progression. I look at their growth. I look at what is happening. Where are they at risk? I love the data. This is just me as a faculty. What I'm trying to tell you is all of you will need datas, case datas, understanding of those datas. If you don't have the basic understanding of mathematics, you cannot have that. So here we can call it as statistics to be simple, more than mathematics. Quantitative reasoning is very important for every humans. Quantitative reasoning is also important for you to manage your life budgeting. You take loans, you do this, your budgeting sectors, your things, your life measurements. All these things are part of mathematical skill. That's why we say that it is important for us. We have a course in the university called Life Skills, which is actually teaching students how to manage their life spectrum, budgeting, personal, pocket money management, how do you choose products, those kind of things. But in all these things, you need to know math. The last 2 points are professionalism, which is how do you carry yourself, the way you talk to people, addressing those things. This is your professional behavior, appearance, communication. Very important. Very important. Then in past, we gave too much of importance to professionalism. People came, talked, and went away. We thought that was professional. No. Here it is to carry yourself, to articulate, but that also needs a lot of training and reading and writing. Believe it or not, I told you, I was interviewing people, even here, in the interview, if they speak very well, and in the writing, they write very badly, I don't take such faculty. Similarly, in my hiring role, I have done it multiple times. I don't take people who cannot articulate. So communication is very important. And this is one area I think you all need to. You're only typing, and you use this Manglish all the time. You put English in Malayalam in English, and then we all lose our ability on a particular way of doing things. I speak Malayalam very well. I wanted to speak to you. Then I thought, no, we are all doing things. Our education system is English, so that's why I'm communicating with you in English. However, when you go to job, your international language is English. If you don't know to read and write that properly, it will be okay. Let's say you don't know to read and write properly. You know to read and write Malayalam properly. That is important. At least some language that you will be competent enough. But unfortunately, we don't do that. We are all over. We are mixed completely in different ways. So communication, very important. Workplace safety, maintain safe work environment to adhering to guidelines and blah, blah. So this is where, we have to know about all the techniques, and this one where we are talking about security, we are talking about EHS, environmental health and safety, all those things. That is at the bottom, but you still need to know what it is. In your case, if you are deciding to becoming psychologist practitioner, there is a person who is approaching you. This person is giving you his or her life stories to you, informing personal details to you. The fundamental basic thing in psychology profession is your ability to be trusted and your ability to keep the information to yourself, confidentiality. So workplace security, you say, for you, that should be primary focus of your work driven. Your professional qualification should start there. And I'll tell you something. When I started teaching in Abu Dhabi, my students used to say that, why are you always smiling and laughing and you're always... We thought psychologists are very grumpy. We need to change that attitude. Psychologists are not grumpy. They like to hear, they like to listen, they like to interact. We need to change the approach altogether. If we collectively don't decide that we need to have the way people think about psychologists, it will never change. So how many of us do this awareness campaign about using psychology, using what is the importance of interpersonal skills, what is the importance of, so these are things that if you do that for others, you start developing in that for yourself. So interacting with others is the key to success in any career. So here in engineering college, for me, for example, I do have lot of tension with those engineers only think in lines. They don't think outside that. I tell them they're so siloed and they think, they just think in that direction. So how do we think differently? We have to make them, so not vocational, but outside. So they are the group of people and students whom I work the most to get them into thinking differently. You are a psychologist, you're already thinking differently. You only need to upscale your technological part. Job is out there in the market. This is where I'm going to the next slide, just to tell you. I have 3 questions for you, which I'm not going to give you as an activity. I know many of you are sitting there in this one, but if you can please go and read this and from the previous slides, interpret what skills you wear. And this is also for the faculty. I'll be sharing these slides, as I said, for you to use it as a component to assess the students. So and another thing I want to tell this teachers in the college also, that don't start working with them in the 3rd year. You need to start working with them in the 1st year itself. When they come in, you need to start assessing them. When they are in the middle, you need to continue supporting them. I'm a big fan of diagnostic assessments, self-reflection, asking the student where the student is looking at. We do that in year 1 so that we know how one student is, how did he come or she come, and how she is or he is graduating. So as a department, you should start from year 1, not wait for the internship or year 3 itself. And also look for internship for what the students want to do. Where will they fit in? There is various different kind of things that they can do in this one. Okay, so use these questions and ask them the this one. Is there is a right or wrong answer in this one? There is no right and wrong, but it is how you go back and look at what are the skills that I just reflected. Is it professional? Is it personal? Is it interpersonal? You need to identify that. My last slide again was about this one, where during COVID, how things have changed. You may have go and look at the videos yourself, because I think we are running out of time. Also, the fact that videos are not opening, I'm sorry about it. Now, story from my side, which is the last slide. What happened? Are you able to see?
Yes. No, ma'am. Now it's blank.
Oh. I don't know what happened.
Now we can see.
Okay. Maybe
now the correct slide.
Yeah.
Stories from the field, my experience. Now it's gone.
It's gone. What happened? I don't know. Anyway, this was the last. This slide you can see.
Yes.
Yeah. My next slide is my next slide is just a statement that says it's an example from this one. Are you able to see this one now?
Yes.
Story from the field, my experience. Okay, now I'll tell you some examples from my experience. As I told you, I'm lucky enough to be part of the hiring project, but I'm also sometimes I feel the pressure of being unlucky to reject people. You cannot hire everybody. People think that they can get, but what I'm trying to tell you is that we do a lot of internship here also. We have 16-week internship for students, and students are asked to do. Can you please mute?
Jairaj sir, you need to mute.
I know the hassle of running a household and also running webinar and also running this one. That's why, because it was too early, I came to the university because I have a dog, 3 cats at home. It's not my family. They will disturb the webinar. So I decided to do this from my office. Anyway, coming back to the point. See, it's very important for us to reflect and see what are the things that the students will need based on jobs. But beyond jobs, there is, as I already discussed it completely, you have to go through varying skills. So, for example, for me, I'm looking at competency like ability to communicate. Written and oral communication. You need to speak, articulate very well. That's number one. Second thing is what we also look for is the competency of that person to be interpersonal. So, you know, for me, when we are recruiting faculty, we have 3 stages of things we do. They have to do a demo class, they have to come and show interaction, collaboration on things. So still, sometimes we get people to come in and in probation, I have to tell them, I'm sorry, we are not going to continue. Why? Because some of them are very good at showing this, but in reality, there is something else happening. So my own experience, I would say, is that what I saw in India while recruiting for my digital marketing company is that students are all educated. People come with high level of education. And as I told you, MBAs, at least a minimum of masters, every person is having. Kerala is going through this big time crisis of, and why do people leave Kerala and go to other countries? Because one is brain drain, good people go and survive in other place. The other issues we have is that we are mostly producing students as factory products. Graduate, graduate, graduate. We are not producing skills in them. And we are not looking at what are the jobs out there which we will be having them to go. Where do we really guide them and tell them that, okay, if you are wanting to become, like, for example, a student is coming and telling you, I want to be a clinical psychologist. A self-reflection on the clinical psychology area. What are the things you need to do? You know, I am a person who ran away from clinical psychology. I did in MG, after MG in Karivattam, we had some sessions where we could go visit certain, I was like, oh my God, I cannot. I'm a very empathetic person. I take it into my heart. I sit and cry when I see a person is depressed. I thought it's not my piece of cake. I was more of using data, analyzing student skills, students this one. So I went into that. Similarly, you need to make sure that you are looking at what you really want to do. I have in my batch of MG College, we were 32 students. Dr. Pratibha, you can go and check, do a background check of our 32 batch in that time. All of us are doing something with life really good. I would say, though we didn't have that professional training, but there was this thing, we could solve problems. We had politics, fight and issues. We solved ourselves. Okay, there was a strike coming. What do we do next? How do we run? Make sure we reach home safely. We had real life experiences, which nowadays the students are missing because, as I said, protection is there. All 32 of my batchmates are doing something or the other, from which 8 of us decided to go into pure psychology. Others all have chosen careers in HR. Okay, one of my batchmate Nishid is which one? Hindustan Levers. He's the South region head for human resources and all those things. If you know Jay Krishnan, who was, Madhavan sir, who was the ISRO head in past, his son was our batchmate. Jay Krishnan is head in Bangalore for an international company for HR. They both went into MBA pattern. We have got people who became lawyers after that. But all of them agree that whatever they learned in psychology they were able to use their skills towards that. What I'm trying to ask you to do is that time is changed now. Now things are more competing. For one job, 100,000 will apply. How can you make yourself different from that 100,000? Why should this employer take me? I see the students graduate and they're fishing for a job. You will do anything you want to do. It should not be like that. You need to pattern it out very well. As I told you, with the development of artificial intelligence and with big data, you have so much of prospect in future for psychology. This is a booming industry where you need to be competent in your subject, be competent in knowledge, but use it to apply differently. Sports, I heard about words like sports psychology, counseling, education, HR. This is not the areas alone. Industries have got these people who are managing psychologists who are managing. There are field of applied psychology in production management. There is one area of health psychology altogether. With the pandemics coming into play, health psychologist has become a common thing all over the place. Suddenly that is the boom. Community psychology, getting people to behave collectively, and with the kind of political dimension that the world is changing, it will become very important. So, finding jobs, creating jobs, both is your mission. With that, I'll conclude and open to questions. Thank you again for having me, and I'm ready to answer your questions if any. As I promised, I'll share this PowerPoint with Dr. Pratibha and Shubha. They'll share it with you. I'll put it into PDF format. Go through it. Please self-reflect. Please, please, please self-reflect. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful session. Now the participants can clear their queries by raising their hands or by putting the questions in the chat box. I also want to mention that kindly fill the feedback form provided in the chat box. The link will be shared in the chat box.
I just got a question saying that about research. Okay. Now, psychology is one area where you can do research in everything. You can go into industry, you can go into to work on psychological aspects in work burn. You can talk about the COVID situation right now, the intolerance, agility, because it's all finally related to research. Now, let me pick up the questions in the. Yeah, now I'm seeing the questions here. So research is becoming a very common thing. But for doing research and wanting to do PhD, you have to get into masters and then do PhD also. Nobody will be willing to work with you if you don't acquire at least a minimum master's degree in the field. And nowadays, PhD work is becoming more open in India. try to choose the most latest concepts and areas of work, because if you're planning to take a career of education and become a lecturer or a faculty, they are always looking for excellent work in the foreign countries. They are looking for excellent work in updated research areas. So that would be my answer. But you have to do your master's and PhD. I just have one question. I don't have any other questions. I know my topic is very broad. A topic that
I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Shriti ma'am, I was just thinking whether you could just tell about how students could look for jobs. Usually we have the traditional jobs in our minds. Now, how to go out of the box while hunting for jobs?
Yeah, so that's where the first thing they really need to do, as I was talking in today's session, was they need to have extra skills in their hand. Degree is not enough. If you don't have extra skills, then you cannot look for jobs. So looking for jobs, you have different ways to do it. One, you can do it through means of, general advertisement. Don't get stuck to the PSC exams only, or this only, or that only. No, there are so many jobs out there. Even if IT industry, for example, you are graduating as a psychologist, you can work in HR easily. HR is an area where you can easily work. If you are looking for OB related, there are other places where you can work in administrative related matters. But if you are doing administrative related matters, you have to go for organization skills. I would always recommend students, if you are going into psychology related jobs, masters is something you should think about. Now, I have seen students take a trend to go from psychology to do MBA. Very good. But in MBA, try to look for what exactly are you looking for, because MBA is becoming super specialized now. So in that super specialty, what exactly should be the area that you are looking for? All these jobs are there. You need to be looking at job platforms. So international job platforms are there, like if you are in education field, you need to look for and never look for education field if you're not a master holder. Okay, you need a master's to look for education field. I have seen people do MEd and BEd and do those things. No, if you don't need to do education purely to become a university teacher, you can do PhD and have some extra certification. If you're going to school, yes, you need education background, but look for Google jobs. You have got job sectors, but this will all give you international ones. In India, there are areas in Naukri.com. There are other things that I have to be very transparent with you and to be honest with you. Maybe I'm so adapted to the international thing that I don't look for things in India as job market. What is the job? What is going on there? But when we were advertising for our job, we used the social media platform to advertise the job. So keeping a watch on social media platform like Instagram, Snapchat and also Facebook is very important, because people started advertising jobs through social media platform. Validate the advertisements. It's very important to call up and check whether it is genuine. I have seen people falling into fraud, because this is one area, because of this overpowering graduates out there in Kerala, this is being abused. Okay, so ethical validation of any adverts that come in social media is very important. Even if it is coming in newspaper, it is very important, because people are frauds and they try to do things. So my first recommendation to you will be that if you are looking for jobs anywhere, any platform, please make sure that you validate it first. For us here in UAE and internationally, we use Google Ads. We use Edu Ads because we are recruiting for faculty positions and other things. LinkedIn. This is very common nowadays. You are a student, doesn't mean you cannot have a LinkedIn advertisement. What you should do in LinkedIn is you create your portfolio, you write a clear small paragraph about what is your future dreams. Write about what, and it should be very clear. It should not be confusing. What is your current skills and the skills you want to take up? You know what happens when you do that? You want to take up a skill. There will be people who will approach you asking, okay, we are giving a training in this one. Are you interested to join? So they will approach you because you announced your platform what you're looking like. Right now, we are recruiting a media lab specialist who should be good in media lab management, the cameras and video production and all those things. I'm going to the LinkedIn and I'm looking for people and I'm calling them on. Because the LinkedIn profile, and some of them are so bad, but they have written it so beautifully. But I'm calling them for an interview. So you need to use LinkedIn platform. Do not fail. All of you create LinkedIn platform where you write up. And this is where you can talk to somebody. Create beautiful CVs. CVs should not be 15, 20 pages long. It should be simple, precise, skill-oriented, not knowledge-oriented. Okay? These are few things I can tell, Pratibha.
Yeah, that was very, very nice, ma'am. I think the main point is that students should start writing in LinkedIn and having their CV uploaded in there. Ma'am, could you, I was just thinking whether you could share, like when you do advertisements in social media, maybe you could share it with us also so that we could post it in our students groups, in our alumni group. So that
that is outreaching for and I have recently I was interviewing a graduate from for IT from Mass. She did her BTech in Trivandrum Engineering College, MTech in Kollam TKM. I'm sorry to say this, Pratibha ma'am, she couldn't communicate. She bloody damn couldn't communicate. She has, her paper looks amazing. She has all the knowledge, but she cannot communicate. So I told her one thing. Okay, you know what? I like your skills. You're good, but you don't know to communicate. Do you want to start with us as teaching assistant? So I've put her as teaching assistant. It's the first year completing for her. She's slowly building her skills. The platform in which we are working back in India and what is looked after here, it's very different. So if you are, I get emails from people who are coming to the UAE because their husband, they are married or in that way, can we have a job? And I tell them, this is my minimal requirement. And I don't hesitate to interview them and take my time off to talk to them because I do feel that it's my obligation to direct them on preparing them for the next job they will be looking for. They'll get beaten up because what is the system looking here is different. So these are things that students should know after graduating. Where are they looking for jobs and what they're looking for? Have you seen the comparison of North Indians with South Indians? Oh, North Indians are amazing in communicating. They their knowledge content is very back, but they outgo and they take all the things that they need to do. They lead, they do the thing. These are things that we should be attaining.
It's been there for a long time and it is still there.
It's still there. It's still there. And that's the reason. And if you go to IAS trainees, they will tell you that why we get beaten up with them. So I'm repeating, knowledge is out there. You can get it from anywhere. Upscaling your own competencies is a part that you get. But colleges can do a lot of things where you rework on the way you are designing things. You've started a step. I was really happy to hear about internship, but you really need to get things sorted out where you can help. And Pratibha ma'am, you're having a group of 30, 35 students, easily moldable. If you take all the 3 batches, minimum will be 90 students. You can mold them. I am dealing with 4,000 students. My minimum every year undergraduate for me is 4,000 to 5,000 students. So we have a group of people who work but with a common vision that we get them employed. And students come back to ADU because our employability rate after that is 85%. So it's a very hot topic. I don't have a one-size-fits-all answer, but we can do a lot.
Ma'am, there is another question for you in the chat box.
Yeah, madam, what about doing psychology degree in distance IGNO? Is it valid for higher education? It is valid in India. It will never be approved all over the world because fully distance education in psychology is not approved by international arenas. It has to be hybrid, where 50% can be online, remaining has to be face-to-face. So I don't know the model in which IGNOU is doing it. But if you just want to be a school counselor where undergraduate degree is more important, IGNOU degree will not be a problem.
To add with that, I have to say one more thing regarding the IGNOU degree, master's degree. In psychology degree is not approved by the University of Kerala.
Yeah. Because also, Jairaj, another thing is that NAC, the Indian Accreditation Board looks at things. I can put it in another way. You cannot learn swimming online by postal service. It's the same way psychology. Psychology requires you to look into things in detail. So that's why IGNOU certification is not accepted. Here I have problems also. Even in UAE, students coming with IGNOU certification is not equalized. So even if University of Kerala is not approving it, you check about it, but I don't think so it's a good decision for you. Internationally, it will not be approved, I can tell you now itself. Any other question? This is the difference. When you are face to face, the ability to ask questions and ability to be provoking students to ask questions is very, very, online doesn't help really. I'm not even seeing anybody. I'm seeing myself. I'm talking to myself. Anyway, if that is it. I think I should thank you enough for having me and hearing me out. Okay, Aishwarya has a question. She has raised her hand. Yes, Aishwarya.
Ma'am, it's like നമുക്കിപ്പോൾ എന്താണ് മാം നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞില്ലേ HR വർക്ക് ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ നമ്മുടെ ക്വാളിഫിക്കേഷൻ എന്തായിരിക്കണം?
HR വർക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ 2-3 ഇപ്പൊ ഒരുപാട് BBA ആൾക്കാരൊക്കെ ഉള്ളതുകൊണ്ട് they kind of try to look for them first. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇത് OBയിൽ സ്പെഷ്യലൈസ് ചെയ്യാന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഫസ്റ്റ് റിക്വയർമെന്റ് when it comes to HR qualification. അപ്പൊ ഇപ്പോഴ് അണ്ടർ ഗ്രാജുവേറ്റ് ഒരു ജനറൽ അണ്ടർ ഗ്രാജുവേറ്റ് ഡിഗ്രി ആയതുകൊണ്ടാണ് എനിക്ക് ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ സെറ്റപ്പ് അറിയത്തില്ല. ഡു യു ഹാവ് കോർ സ്പെഷ്യലൈസേഷൻ ലൈക്ക് ഫോക്കസിങ് ഓൺ OB? ഇറ്റ് വാസ് ടോൾഡ് OBയിൽ സ്പെഷ്യലൈസേഷൻ ഉണ്ട്, HR നിങ്ങൾ ഫോക്കസ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടെന്ന്. അങ്ങനെ ഉണ്ടോ?
Yeah, in PG level.
Oh, PG level. Okay. Yeah. So, undergraduate, നമ്മൾ ഇവിടെ ചെയ്യുന്ന എന്താന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ നമ്മൾ കോൺസെൻട്രേഷൻസ് വെക്കാറുണ്ട്. Like we have got students can specialize after ഒരു കുറച്ച് applied psychology concepts എല്ലാം പഠിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് പിന്നെ കോൺസെൻട്രേഷൻ ആവും where they go into fields like health, counseling, sports. This അങ്ങനെ ഫീൽഡ് കോൺസെൻട്രേഷൻ മാറ്റും. അപ്പം സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് അണ്ടർ ഗ്രാജുവേഷൻ കഴിഞ്ഞ് അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ they are claiming to be specialized in a certain area. മാസ്റ്റേഴ്സ് സ്പെഷ്യലൈസേഷൻ ചെയ്യുന്നതായിരിക്കും നാട്ടിൽ നല്ലത്, because you will have to compete with MBA students. Okay, MBA who have specialization in HRM, human resource management. അപ്പം if you are very much interested, keep a track of OB and HR and do the masters. But anybody who wants to go into HR field, ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞ കുറെ കാര്യങ്ങൾ ചെയ്തേ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. റെസിലിയൻസ്, പ്രോബ്ലം സോൾവിംഗ് സ്കിൽസ്, ടീം വർക്ക്, ഇതൊക്കെ ഡെമോൺസ്ട്രേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള efficiency വേണം. Once that is done, you will be able to do it. Okay, because നിങ്ങൾ സൈക്കോളജി HR പോകുന്നവര് we are competing with MBA students. പക്ഷേ we are always the victorious ones. Okay, നമ്മൾ കുറച്ച് കാര്യം they always look at our psychological competency. നമ്മളെ ബാച്ചിൽ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്ന ഗൗതം ഉണ്ട്, which is another, ശുഭയ്ക്ക് അറിയാമെന്ന് അറിയത്തില്ല. ഗൗതം was in MG college also. ഗൗതം ചൂസ് ചെയ്തത് മാസ്റ്റേഴ്സ് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് he went into defense. പുള്ളിക്കാരൻ ഡിഫൻസിന്റെ സെലക്ഷൻ ബോർഡ് മെമ്പറാണ്, എയർഫോഴ്സിലാണ്. He is now wing commander and he is in the selection board. So he took a different path where he decided to go to defense, used his psychology, this one, and he uses psychometrics analysis and selection ചെയ്യുമല്ലോ ഓഫീസേഴ്സിനെ ഇതിനെ അതിന്റെ ബോർഡിലാണ് പോലും. So you can choose those paths.
We have a student who went into DRDO as a scientific assistant in DRDO, actually, Defense Research Organization.
Okay, and also Suraj is another one in our batch who went to army, and he also is doing HR related things in army using a psychology background. പിന്നെ do understand ഡിഫൻസിലൊക്കെ പോയാൽ ഒന്നും പഠിക്കണ്ടെന്ന് വിചാരിക്കുന്ന ചുമ്മാ you have to keep upscaling your skills. Srimol had her hand up.
ഹലോ മാം. മാം ഞാൻ ഇഗ്നോയിലാണ് മാം PG ചെയ്യുന്നത് MAക്ക്. ഇപ്പൊ സെക്കൻഡ് ഇയർ ആണ്. അപ്പൊ മാം ഞങ്ങൾക്കിപ്പോ വാലിഡിറ്റി ഇന്ത്യയിൽ മാത്രമേ കാണുള്ളൂ അല്ലേ?
അതൊരു വലിയ ഇഷ്യൂ ആണ്. ബിക്കോസ് പിന്നെ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് സേവ് ചെയ്യാൻ നിങ്ങളെ തന്നെ if you really want to go abroad and do this, IGNO certify ചെയ്യുന്ന ഇന്ത്യൻ സ്ഥലത്ത് പോയിട്ട് MPhil ഒരു പ്രോപ്പർ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിന്ന് എടുക്കുക, എന്നിട്ട് PhD ചെയ്യുക ഒരു പ്രോപ്പർ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിന്ന് ഓൺലൈൻ. അപ്പം ഈ ഫോറിനിലൊക്കെ പോകുമ്പോൾ എന്നുള്ള ഇതെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ they look at your highest degree. ആ ഡിഗ്രി എവിടെ നിന്നാ ചെയ്തെന്നുള്ളത് അവർ നോക്കുന്നത്. സോ ഇവിടെ വരുന്ന ഒരുപാട് ഓൺലൈൻ ഡിഗ്രി എടുത്തവർക്ക് ഞാൻ അഡ്വൈസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന അതാണ്, that try to look for the next level, do it in a proper place. സി കോവിഡ് വന്നു ഓൺലൈൻ അപ്രൂവൽ ഉണ്ടെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാലും അവരെല്ലാം ഓൺലൈനും അപ്രൂവ് ചെയ്യത്തില്ല. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ IGNO ഷുഡ് മേക്ക് ഇറ്റ് എ പോയിന്റ് ടു accredit themselves with international online universities, which IGNO has not done.
മാം അപ്പൊ ഇത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് മാം എന്താണ് മാം ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്? പ്രാക്ടീസ് ചെയ്യണോ മാം? എന്താണ്
you need to make sure you do MPhil ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ഒരു പ്രോപ്പർ ഒരു സ്ഥലത്ത് പോയി MPhil ചെയ്താൽ നല്ലതാണ്. കേരള യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി കിട്ടൂലെന്നല്ലേ ജയരാജ് പറഞ്ഞു. വേറെ എവിടെയെങ്കിലും നോക്കുക, ക്രിസ്ത്യൻ കോളേജ് ചെന്നൈയിലോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അണ്ണാമലയിലോ അങ്ങനെ നോക്കുക. ഓക്കെ
ഓക്കെ മാം, താങ്ക് യു മാം.
Okay, qualification for school counseling in India. School counseling is very much related to counseling only. You need to know the Indian system of education. അതിന് നിങ്ങൾ സ്വയം കുറെ റിസർച്ചും കാര്യങ്ങളും ചെയ്തേ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. നോട്ട് ടു ഡു റിസർച്ച് ബട്ട് റീഡിങ് ഇൻ ഇന്ത്യൻ സിസ്റ്റം ഓഫ് എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ. അപ്പം സ്കൂൾ കൗൺസിലർ ആണെങ്കിൽ മാസ്റ്റേഴ്സിനൊപ്പം ഒരു എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ ഡിഗ്രി അവർ നോക്കും, പക്ഷെ ഡിഗ്രി ഇല്ലെങ്കിലും ക്വാളിഫിക്കേഷൻ നോക്കണം. ഓക്കെ, സോ സ്കൂൾ കൗൺസിലേഴ്സിന് വേണ്ടിയത് ഗുഡ് നോളേജ് അബൌട്ട് സ്കൂളിംഗ് സിസ്റ്റം ആണ്. ബട്ട് ഡിഗ്രി ക്യാൻ ബി മാസ്റ്റേഴ്സ് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കൗൺസിലിംഗിൽ മതി. Then you can become, but you should be knowledgeable about the school systems. That's all. Yeah, somebody's hand is up. White talks.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, I tried to change that name, but as you faced in between, you were also facing some technical issues. So same way, I was also able to change the name. Anyhow, my name is Binoy. I'm a mechanical engineer by profession. I just want to ask you one question. You mentioned how important it is to have so few skills outside the curriculum to be successful in life, outside even in career. So my question is, can you say few ways so that we can develop these skills right from grade 5 or something? Grade 5, a student from grade 5 can have these skills. What all precautions or what all steps as a parent that we have to take?
Okay. See, as a parent, what you have to take is that you really need to start trusting your kids and start giving them independence to take decisions and so on. But the schooling system changing is something that we really have to figure out. So this is where the parents can play a role in parent-teacher association in schools, where they start incorporating those kind of competencies and start saying that along with passing grade 1 to grade 2 to grade 3 to grade 4, we need our kids to learn XYZ, communicating, teamwork, develop coordination skills, trying to get them on. And here they may say everybody cannot do everything, but you can identify. So allowing them to start identifying basic skills in these students from the beginning and incorporating that in developmental processes. Other thing is that the pedagogical approach teachers take in classrooms. I'm a strong believer of the fact that you can make the difference via teachers. The teachers can use these techniques in classes by doing education. Classrooms should change because the future of teacher is a facilitator. The teacher is not a person who is directing. He just facilitates activity, or she just facilitates activity in classrooms, where it should be more of creative mindsets, design thinking, those concepts where the pedagogical approach, nammal padipikkunna style maatiyey pattu. If you don't change the way we teach, That's why teaching and learning is one area where teaching and learning upscaling has to keep happening. It's not one style from tradition time. No, we have to keep changing based on what is changing in the system now. Our pedagogical approach classes. This is what you really have to do in education. So that's where I always tell that so many things can be done, and it has to be done in Kerala and India. And Kerala is all hungry about education, and people are so directed to, why are we not looking at things differently? Why are we still traditionally looking at? And this is the example I said in my family and my husband's family. We have already got 24 doctors. Okay. Rest of the kids are engineers. When my daughter decided to take a different path in career, the whole family is now going mad. I stood my ground and my husband stood his ground. We said, it's her decision. It's her choice. So this is where we have to understand that we should stop making decisions on these things, and we should break the social norms, but we are all so accustomed to the social norms. We are more bothered about hijab rather than bothered about the things we do in classes. After the political setup is what I don't know how it will change. The YouTube they will cut my head off. I don't care, but we are not thinking about humans here. We are thinking about power dynamics. As a mechanical engineer, you can do a lot of things as traditionally in the Mari. So you need to think about letting your kids. Actually, the parents are afraid also because the social setup is changing in India. So that's why they get worried a lot. Other collective effort, it will be very challenging for us to do. You may ask me, if you were in India, will you do this? Maybe I will not do, but it's how I will start looking at things. So I cannot say that, but I believe that kids should be allowed to do what they like to do. The school system, parents should get involved, start getting the schools to tell. Parents should leave involvement in kids' life after school. College, I am not in any agreement that students and parents should be involved in students' life in college. I'm sorry, you are generating young adults for future. You are obstructing it by having parents in there. You asked me a very broad question. That's why I'm trying to make it very precise. Actually, I'm trying my best.
Thank you.
I think, thank you so much. I think, Dr. Pratibha, I'll have to take a leave. I have got some more questions here, ma'am. All extra achievements and skill sets. Need to be able to master in prestigious international universities. Nothing like that. What else other than specific proportion of subject that we have to study in each semester? What else other than, as I told you, this is not something I'm asking you to do in education, where I'm asking you to incorporate within the education and go along with it and find your ways out beyond just taking the exams and going on it. Don't think only going to prestige. I studied in MG College. I studied in Karyavattam. But I was like, I wanted to build my career, and I'm always thankful to the fact that I've been recognized and I've been supported by my family to build my career. I did not study in an international university. So don't think that that is your competency. Your competency is able to identify yourself and to say that, okay, I can look at things differently. What is it that I should do differently from others? So your question, second half of your question, you should, the teachers in the university and your programs should start building, incorporate these kind of skills within your courses itself. And parallel to that, you can have extracurricular activities where you're doing, this is an example. Do webinars, get speakers. Pratibha ma'am, do you get alumni who, like, I'm an alumni. You should have an alumni series for every semester. Or alumni so the focus is on one topic. There is another approach also, the job sectors in Even Madam Georgia question, then you can get job sectors in Alkara to talk to them. Either you have to start from year one, don't wait for the third year. So that will help. Balance that communication, presentation, other that 20 marks get them to do those things where they are showing their skills.
Yeah, they do get a lot of exposure in that sense. We do make them do a lot of presentations, coordinate programs. We do get people to speak to them, like mostly. And we have discovered you now, ma'am. We'll be inviting you more often. Thank you very much.
Don't make my face redundant that they are going to be unhappy about it. I'll talk to my batchmates. Connected on code.
Sure, you can help me with that. You can help me with that. You can connect me to some of the people.
I'll talk to them and they're interested. We can get them on board. So we can do that. We should. And I think one of the things that you're missing in MG is the alumni structure. You really need to get your alumni structure on place.
That's true.
And I hope under your leadership, you can get that sorted out. You will have so many people who are doing so good in careers in their life.
That's true. And it's more inspiring for the kids to see that, oh, this particular person has been from MG, and that really builds their confidence up. Thank you so much.
So I hope that's it. I really need to take a leave because it's almost 10:50 here. 11 o'clock, I have a university-related meeting and I have to...
Just hold on for 2 more minutes. We have somebody entering the word of thanks. One of the students. Can she come up? Bhagya, can you come up very fast so that...
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Warm greetings to one and all. Today, we all had a golden opportunity in receiving an enlightening session on the topic, Are we ready for future job? An overview of future work skill competency, focusing on workplace readiness skills by a very honorable person in the field of educational psychology, Dr. Shrithi Nair Ma'am, Dean, College of Arts and Science, Abu Dhabi University, and an alumni of Psychology Department, MGC. Firstly, I would like to express my sincere gratitude towards Dr. Shrithi Nair Ma'am on behalf of the whole Department of Psychology for your wonderful session, as we were lacking the utmost knowledge on the topic, and it surely was an eye-opening session. Thank you so much, ma'am. Your expertise in enhancement of student success and future work skill competencies made a huge impact in throwing light on us with the session, and we were able to learn and understand so much about the competencies of the modern world and the need to polish and shape our skills for the upcoming future. And as ma'am has said, it is high time that we build our skills, especially our interpersonal skills, our ability in conflict resolution, our tolerance, our problem-solving skills, and all that. So I think we'll be able to use, as you said, finding jobs and creating jobs as our motto for the future. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind words. Now, I would like to thank our faculty for organizing this fruitful session. Last but not the least, I thank all the audience for your wonderful participation. Once again, thank you to each and everyone for your kind cooperation throughout the session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bhagya. So our first session has come to an end. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Our next session will be by Srimati Nisha Pratap, which will start by 2:30 p.m.
Okay, so thank you all of you. I'll take leave and stay safe and keep in touch, please. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I would request everyone to join the session by 2:20 p.m. The link is shared in the WhatsApp group. Please note that the link for the second session is different from the first one. Once again, thank you, everyone. You can leave now.
delay, she responded very positively. And right now also she said that she is a little bit busy, but at the same time she assured to us that sharp 2:30 she will join. And she kept her words actually. So I am maintaining a very warm, very good relationship with her. So it is my proud feeling and privilege that the Department of Psychology given me an opportunity to welcome my student Nisha. So Nisha, on behalf of on behalf of the Department of Psychology, Mahatma Gandhi College, I welcome you for this session, and definitely I welcome all the participants. I welcome all the participants for this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was a very warm welcome, and it feels good to be back home finally. I think it's been almost 4 years, so feels good to be back at where I started. And sorry for the delay, I was caught up in an extended call. So I believe that we have some of my juniors as well as some faculty members here on call. So first of all, I thank you all for giving me this opportunity. So I think we can get started now. Ma'am, are we waiting for anyone to join the call?
No, you can proceed, Nisha.
Okay, so I have put together a small PPT. So you guys can let me know once you can see my screen. I'll share my screen now. Can you let me know once you can see my screen?
Yes, Nisha, we can.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. So good afternoon, first of all. So I believe a few of you all are not familiar with my voice or the name itself, Nisha Pratap. So I belong to the 2018 batch of Psychology Department from MG College. And Shubha teacher has more than a faculty member. She's been a very close friend of mine. She's been my go-to person, and she's been more like a toll-free number for me. So ma'am, thank you for inviting me once again. And after my undergrads in MG College, I went to pursue my postgrad from Vellore Institute of Technology, and I specialized in HR because I felt that was my cup of tea. So currently I'm working as a talent acquisition associate at Thomson Reuters. Now, when you hear Thomson Reuters or when you hear talent acquisition associate, this might be big names, but basically I'm just a recruiter. I hire people. I find out if the person has the right talent for a particular role, and I give them a job. This is what I do in a nutshell. And apart from that, I enjoy gossiping, and of course I have a dog, so I love playing with my dog as well. And moving on, so I've divided this session into 3 parts. So I'll try to stick on to the topic as much as possible. So we'll be talking about what jobs are available in the market for someone who's specializing in OB and someone who's pursuing their postgrad in MBA in HR. And also I would like to tell you my insights on what skill sets the market is currently demanding, and how would you know if you are fit for a particular job. And basis my personal experience and how I've been working in the organization setup for some time, I'll also give you some tips on how you can get the job. So I hope this session would be fruitful and insightful for everyone who's here with me today. And let's go to the topic. So the jobs in the market can be classified into 3, right? Basis the experience that you possess. When you walk into the job market, you can be classified into 3 positions. You can either be an entry-level candidate, a mid-level candidate, or an upper-level candidate. So us being freshers, of course, we'll have plenty of choices because we still haven't decided on what field or what area we'll be specializing on, right? So this you can decide once you understand what your strong skill sets are. So for me, if you ask me, I could have pursued my education in psychology, but I personally felt that I was not the right person to handle so much responsibility, right? So I went and pursued MBA. So likewise, we'll have people with varying potentials here on call today. So this could be your opportunity where you can ask yourself where you belong and what skill sets you have. So the possible opportunities, job opportunities in the market for someone who's specializing in HR, or someone who's taking up industrial psychology, or specializing in OB, could fall here in this category. So under umbrella term, everything could be classified as someone who's working in the HR team, right? Because we deal with human beings on a day-to-day basis. We deal with human beings, and I'll tell you where the fine line between OB and HR is. Sometime in this call itself. But I think most of the opportunities available for people who are specializing in HR would be in the HR team itself. And so I have put together some interesting, job opportunities which are available after you pursue your OB degree. So you can be called by many names, like you can be an industrial psychologist, you can work in the personnel department, and previously someone who's pursuing an education in OB degree, they can work in employee assistance programs and so on. So the jobs which are available for someone who has an OB degree could be it could be perfect for someone who would like to combine their passion for business and human behavior, right? So in a corporate setup, business and human behavior comes hand in hand. So that's when the ideal job is waiting for you, okay? So some of the popular, 5 popular and interesting careers that you can get if you get an OB degree are here. So I'll just tell you what a training and development manager does. So this will be mostly in your learning and development department, right? So here you identify the employees' skills, the strength, the weaknesses. You conduct performance tests, you evaluate the employees, you identify some training needs, and if any skills are being popular in the market at this given point in time, you can maybe ask your employees to learn that particular skill and upskill themselves, and all this will come under training and development department. So this is the basic backbone of every organization, because unless and until the employees in the particular organization are up to date with the latest skills in the market, they will not be able to pace up with the competitors, right? So this is where training and development managers are important. So once you have an OB degree, you would be able to understand, you will be able to lead, teach, and evaluate candidates, right? Employees. So this is where your OB degree comes into picture. And when it comes to an employee relations manager, here we act as an interface between the employees. So in a case where an employee has some issue with a fellow colleague, right? So what would you do? Then the employee would come and maybe inform you, or maybe take your advice on the same. So here we investigate and we try to resolve the complex, or we try to solve this issue in a timely and effective manner where it's professional. So this is where the psychologist again comes into picture. So this is an interesting role for someone who has all the patience and all the listening skills in the planet, because on a day-to-day basis, you can come across many issues where there are conflicts, there are grievances, and there are issues between the employees where you will have to deal with. So some roles and responsibilities of someone who's working as an employee relationship manager would be like collecting data on a company's performance, running diagnostic tests, assessing performance against other industry benchmarks, and identifying if you have any bottlenecks in your industry, in your organizational needs, and so on. So if you are someone who is interested in being an employee relationship manager, you can advance your career into a business partner and so on. So business partners get highly paid in the market. So you can't, a fresher can't be a business partner. This comes through experience, right? So if you can, if anyone here today on call, if you are interested in taking up some position where you want to be an employee relationship manager, you join as a fresher and proceed your career. Once you advance, you can very well become a business partner, where you will be, assisting various business departments and so on. And when it comes to organizational development consultant, so this is where you design, right? You design strategic approaches and you make changes in the organization. So the development needs of the organization will be identified by this person. And once the development needs are identified, some change will be brought about. So this organizational development consultant and the change management consultant will work hand in hand, and whatever changes that the organization will be undergoing, this will be under the leadership of the organizational development consultant and the change management consultant. So that is about that. And the OB consultant is the most popular area when it comes to someone who has an OB degree. So all your workplace counseling skills, all your knowledge and experience that you gain from your OB degree during your masters, you can use it here in an OB consultant. So an OB consultant is very important in every organization, because this person will be basically handling the workplace, the employees at the workplace, their mental health. Everything will be done by the OB consultant. So this is, if you're someone who loves counseling and if you want to end up in the corporate sector, this could also be a cup of tea. And so why do we need OB grads in our team? So in our HR team, we have many functions, right? We have the recruitment, we have the compensation benefits, we have the payroll, we have the operations. But why do you think the role of an OB grad is very crucial in our team? So if you see, in every organization, there would be many, problems that employees face on a day-to-day basis. So some of them could regularly be absent, and some of them could be could hold some criminal records. But to prevent them from any relapse, or someone could be facing some kind of psychological distress due to personal reasons or something like that. Work-life balance, addictions, productivity. So these are some issues that we come across on a day-to-day basis. So if you ask me as a HR, there is nothing that I can do here, because my role and my responsibility is not related to any of this. I work, I hire people, and that's it. So who would take care of all these psychological issues and the psychological needs that the employees have? That is when the OB becomes very crucial, right? So for every organization, having an OB is very crucial, because the employee's mental health depends and relies on the OB's, on the workplace counselor and the OB's this. So that is about that. So here is where the people versus business concept comes in. So if you ask me what is the the thin line between the MBA grad and the someone who has graduated with a psychology degree in industrial psychology or OB, this is where the difference is. So the person who is graduating with a business degree would be focused only on the business, on productivity, on how much deliverables I can manage on a day-to-day basis, and so on. So who will be taking care of the people versus business? The people and the workforce who is doing the business is why the OB is important. So the human resource who will be taking care of the business and the mental health of the human resource, the work-life balance, and all this is something of the OB's concern. So that is why the OB is important. Whereas if you look at the person who has graduated with an MBA degree, we have learned that psychology. Human mind is a center, right? So if you ask me in simple terms, the business is the center when it comes to HR. So we'll be facilitating business, whereas someone who has graduated or someone who is more focused on psychology will be focusing on the people mode. So that is the thin line of difference between a people manager and someone who is in OB. Then, so if any of you here today are thinking of pursuing your studies in MBA, and if you want to specialize in HR, because HR was my area, so I could just help you out with some opportunities that might be open to you and where you might have leverage on, because you're a psychology graduate. So in a HR department, you have various fields, right? So these are basic functions. The ones you see in blue are basic functions in a HR department. So starting from recruitment to comp and ben, employee relations, training and development, workforce safety, everything has separate roles and responsibilities for candidates. So I work here. I work in the recruitment team. So starting from finding a candidate to hiring that candidate, everything is basically my responsibility. So if you're someone who's interested in comp and ben, then everything from job evaluation to all this will be So all this will be the responsibility of someone who's working in comp and ben. So likewise, if you are pursuing your studies in MBA HR, you could fall somewhere here, and the roles that are open to you are numerous, and you can definitely explore yourself. Basis the skills that you possess, you can definitely explore yourself over here. So I have been echoing this for some time, the right job for the right talent, right? So for everyone to succeed in the career, in everyone's career, you have to be someone with good communication skills, and you have to be an active listener. You have to have independent thinking, patience, and leadership. Now, the difference between where you want to go in your career, right? That can be determined on what you want to pursue in your career. So if you want to go and pursue your studies in psychology, and if you want to be an OB professional, then you can go ahead, do your UG, preferably in psychology or some fields related, and pursue your master's in psychology and get yourself licensed, right? So once you get yourself licensed to practice, you can go ahead and you can become a OB professional. And if you want to pursue something in HR, go ahead, do your UG, because UG is crucial for everything. And go ahead, you can pursue your MBA in HR. And once you gain experience, so I have listed it here in this table. So these are professional certifications which are available to you, APHR or SPHR. These are professional certifications. So once you start gaining that experience and exposure in the industry, you can go ahead and get yourself certified as well. Now, this will increase your visibility in the market and will also create more opportunities to get hired in the market. So, where to start? So, I believe that we will be having some final year students in the call today. So, where do you start? How do you plan your career? So, I still remember back in my UG, I was in the final year and I was still very confused. I didn't know if I wanted to pursue psychology or if I should pursue MBA. So I got many opinions. I took everyone's opinion, and many people came back with their own, whatever suggestions and feedback that they had. Many people did contribute to helping me find my way. And what I did was I took I went and I spoke to a friend of mine. So I'm not sure if he's here on call today. So he asked me to draw a career plan, like from where I stand right now and where I want to be in the next 5-10 years, right? So this has helped me find my way through life. So I knew where I wanted to be once I started drawing that. I knew at what age where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. I think that has helped me a lot. So if you are here today and if you're confused as me, then this could be your sign to draw this career planning. I don't know what diagram you call this. This could be your chance to do this. Start from where you are right now and build it as you progress. And you can picture yourself in maybe the next 5 years or 10 years or whatever. So apart from that, in the industry, what could help you land in a job? So I will talk about that now. So all of you should have a strong resume. This is very basic, and a strong resume is very crucial when you want to land in a job. So I know that our English department would come and teach you how to write resumes, what to include in your resumes from time to time. And all of us would probably take this very silly because we're like, who will use a resume? But until you start on this job hunt of yours, this journey will tell you how important and how crucial a strong resume is, right? So this is where you need a strong resume listing all your skill set, but it should be crisp. That is the key. I'll be showing you some resumes which I have come across and which I personally like. So being a recruiter, I don't like something which is very lengthy, and I don't like a resume which is not formatted properly. So I'll show you what kind of resumes might help you get, land in a job, and what resumes and what mistakes you can try to avoid when you're making your resumes, right? And also networking. So I cannot stress this enough. Networking is very important. be it whatever job or whatever career you want to pursue in your life, networking is very important. So I still remember back in my UG second year, we were supposed to do an internship. And you might know that psychology internships are not that easy to find. But we did land in an internship, which was also a good internship because we had the networking with the previous alumni from our college itself. So if you also want to, expand your career, and if you want to land in a job, be it internships or whatever, just keep networking with whoever you can. If they have a similar interest and passion towards your career, go ahead and network. That's what I would advise. And I cannot stress this enough. Internships are very important. So being a fresher, you will not have all the experience and all the knowledge that you need to, survive in the market. But I'm pretty sure that internships can definitely help you, gain some kind of exposure. So, I didn't know what recruitment was until I did my first internship, right? And that internship helped me land on a job. So this is a true testimonial that's coming from me. So you can take this. Do internships, whatever be it, if you want to do in sales, if you want to pursue a career in psychology, if you want to do counseling, or whatever be it, keep doing internships until you land in a job, right? And develop your skills. So be it counseling psychology or whatever you want to pursue, be it clinical or whatever, okay, whatever job you want to pursue, don't just stagnate yourself. Keep developing and keep upskilling yourself because the market is very volatile and the market is crazy competitive, right? So as long as you keep developing your skills and as long as you don't decide to stagnate yourself, you will definitely win in the market and you will keep landing in jobs wherever you apply, right? Then about Naukri, Monster and LinkedIn. So I did mention about networking, right? So I mainly use Naukri, Monster and LinkedIn to find my candidates. So if you are someone who is actively looking for a job, maybe it's time you make your profiles here. So these are free websites, free platforms where you can easily make an account. So if you can, I would suggest you do it today itself. And the LinkedIn will also help you build your network. And you can ask people for recommendations. You can ask them for internships. People can vouch for you and so on. So this can also help you land in a job. And take interview preparation seriously. So I've come across many instances in my career where we schedule interviews for people, but they'll take it very lightly. So the panel or whoever is taking the interview, they would understand that the person is not interested in the job or the person is a very lousy person. So lousy people have no place in the market. So you can impress the panel. It's just a 1 hour call hardly, right? So you can take this session, you can take this time to impress the panel and that will help you get a job. So I'll show you some examples of a good resume. So formatting the resume is very important, right? Just keep in mind that all your points are on bullets, and everything is left aligned, right? I still remember the first resume I made; it was centrally aligned, and someone did have the courtesy to come and correct me, and I think that has helped me in a long time. So this is what I have to show you. I'll show you a couple of other resumes as well. So this is the requirement that you have or what kind of job that you're applying for. Understand it first, understand it thoroughly, and make sure your resume is open to changing or tailoring it according to the business requirement in the JD, right? And make sure you input all your contact details and all that, because if there is no contact detail, they will never call you. They won't take the pain in sending you an email and waiting for you to revert. So make sure you input that, and make sure you list out all your skills and all your work experience, be it your internships or any leadership roles that you have taken up in your previous organization. Make sure you list out all that. And the last, but the most important, make sure you proofread it, right? So if your resume has too many grammar mistakes or spelling mistakes, that would mean that you are not a serious person or you are a very clumsy person. So proofreading your resume is also very important, because the resume is basically projecting what kind of a person you are. So that is where proofreading is important. And these are two other resumes which I did come across, and you can see how everything is neatly arranged. This is in a hierarchical model, so you can see the areas of strength, the summary, everything is listed in a neat way. So if you can see, this resume will immediately make an impression of the candidate without even the picture, right? So this is where this is important. And yep, networking. I did mention about networking. So Naukri is one website where all the recruiters in this planet would find candidates. So if you want to, land on a job in a quickest way possible, I would suggest you guys go and upload your resume on Naukri.com. It is also free, and recruiters will easily find you on Naukri. This depends on how strong your profile is. And at the end of the day, the world is just a big network. So you will find a job. If you are being distressed that you're not able to find a job, you will find a job. Just hang in there. And that's all. I think I've covered my portion. So I'm open to questions now if you have any. Yeah.
So participants, now you can and ask any queries by raising their hands or putting in the chat box.
Nisha, very nice to hear from you.
Hi, ma'am. Good to see you, ma'am.
Maybe you should get your video on for a minute so we can take a photograph also. Should have your video on for a minute so we can have a photograph.
1 second. Just give me a second, ma'am. 1 second.
Oh no, we didn't get you. Your video came on and then it went off.
Yes. I'm sorry?
No, I'm just calling to Shubha teacher because Shubha teacher? No, I didn't get her. Anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Shubha, Nisha's video is on. I mean, video is on now, so maybe we can take a photo now.
Yes, I took it, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, 1 second. I just put some background effect. Yeah, I hope this is fine.
Yeah, it's absolutely fine. Nisha, one of the students asked that, can you please share your PPT with us?
Sure, ma'am, I can do that. Yeah. Ma'am, I'll send it to you by mail. Maybe you can circulate it with the candidates. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. You can send it to WhatsApp. That is fine.
Okay. I'll do that.
Whatever that is convenient for you, it's okay.
Sure, ma'am. Yeah.
Nisha, you were speaking about license from SIOP. Can you make it clear what is SIOP?
I'm sorry, ma'am. Your voice is breaking in between.
You had put in one of your slides that you need to get a license from SIOP. Can you make that clear?
Yes. Society of Industrial and Organizational Psychology, ma'am. That is the full
Can
form.
you give more
So
details
if you
on
want
that?
to practice. Sorry? Is it just my network or I think ma'am's video is stuck?
From the college actually. There's a race problem. I'm in college now. So that is why.
Ma'am, it's not clear.
Pratibha ma'am, the question which you asked was not clear actually. So generally, Nisha, for the information sake of the others, you just explain how can we achieve that license and so on.
I'm not sure of the process, ma'am, but because SIOP is something which is not from my area. Maybe I could just look into it and give you a heads up there. But I can tell you how you can get the other license, the SPHR. SHR.
Then you can explain that. Then you can explain that then.
Okay, so there will be an evaluation for this certification. So this is a professional certification, like I mentioned. So you have to gain a particular experience. You have to pay the fee, and in their official website, I can share the website with you. And for people who have gained the experience and for I guess close to 3 years, you will be eligible to apply for this particular certification. And the eligibility criteria varies from the undergraduate degree that you have done and the postgrad degree that you have done, right? So the professional certification can take somewhere from 1 to 2 weeks time once you clear the exam, and you'll get the certification. So this will expand your visibility in the job market and will also help you get more money. So if you have the certification, you can definitely apply for jobs which are high paying. Yeah. So the minimum eligibility criteria is 3 years to apply for this for the certification.
I saw some old students like Krishnendu. Earlier, Krishnendu had a video on hello. Nice to see the old students there. Hello, Krishnendu.
Hello, ma'am.
How many more are there?
Hi.
What are you doing, Krishnendu?
I'm working as a school psychologist and a psychology teacher at Christnagar International School.
Okay, Jack.
All are following my path, I think so. Exactly.
That is also inspiring for the students. They can hear about that too.
Did I miss out on a question?
Nisha is speaking about OB consultant. Do you know any organization which really keeps a OB consultant? Because though we speak about all these opportunities, we don't hardly OB students get such opportunities, and maybe the HRs will take it, and
yeah, it's very competitive because the Taiwan business schools in India, the IIM, BA and all that, they have this specialization, right? So if you present a candidate from an IIM and someone who has graduated in psychology, the preference in the job market will always go for the IIM candidate because that is Tier 1. So as long as we don't have a Taiwan psychology college, this will be a problem. The market is very competitive in terms of that. I do have an OB consultant in my organization. So this person has the experience and the certifications, and hence she is the OB consultant in our organization. But then again, it is very threatening to her position. Tomorrow, if someone with an IIM B degree comes and applies for the role, then that person will get the role. So it's very competitive that way.
What is the qualification for the OB consultant? What is the qualification for the OB consultant?
We need the certification, ma'am. We need the professional certification, and yeah.
No, will a PG in organizational behavior plus a certification do for that, or do we need an MBA itself?
You are asking in terms of for someone who is graduating in MBA or for psychology graduates?
Like in Chennai University offers PG in organizational psychology.
Yes.
Okay,
But,
so if you have a PG in organizational psychology plus the certification that you're speaking about, can you get a job as OB consultant?
Well, if the question is can you, yes, but the intensity of the role and the skills and requirements and the kind of organization that would hire someone with a psychology degree would be a question there, because like I said, IIMB also offers some OB certification, OB as a specialization. So with that being said, the preference would go to IIMB.
So you would say that it is always safe that if somebody wants to pursue a job in the corporate, you should safer to go for an MBA, at least along with your PG in psychology. You can also pursue MBA. That would be a safer thing to do.
I wouldn't say that. It depends on your skills, basically. So if you see in my organization and in my postgrad also, everyone was an engineer. I was the only person sitting there with a BSc degree, right? So it depends on where you want to, place yourself, and where you want. If you want to place the bar really high, you can do that. So it was really hard. I mean, I believe Shubha teacher might laugh when I say this. I was very bad at statistics, right? And then I was scared of math, so I went for biopsychology in 11th and 12th. Shubha teacher might already know about this. If I can see her on video, I'm very sure that she'll be laughing. So I went for biopsychology because I didn't want math. And then there was statistics. And then I opted for psychology again because Shubha teacher was there, but again there was statistics. And then everyone knows what happened after that. And then I joined MBA. There was accounts, there was statistics. So whatever we learned in 2 years, everything was there in one paper, right? But if I wanted to, get that done, if I had decided that I will learn this and if I will master it, then I did get it done. Okay. So it's not a question of whether you can. Everyone can. It just depends on whether you want to do it or not.
That's motivating. Thank you.
Yeah. I believe Nandana has a question. I can see that her hands are raised.
There is a network issue with her phone, that's why.
Do we have any questions?
I think students really need to know on writing good resumes. That's an area where a whole lot of training is required at the UG level. So can you say a little? You did speak on it. I did hear you, but could you elaborate a little more, taking into consideration the UG students and how they should go about writing a resume?
Okay, so first of all, the basic difference between a resume and a CV. A resume is a one-pager. A CV is very elaborate. So if you want to apply for an assistant professor role or something like that, I would suggest you go for a CV because that is where what books you have written, what research papers you have published, and all that comes into play, right? So that is very important when you're applying for a role like that. If you're applying for a government job also, I would suggest you go for a CV. But on the other hand, if you're applying for a corporate job, I would recommend a resume because a recruiter would review almost close to 100 resumes on a day-to-day basis. So if you're sending me a resume with 30 pages, I would not go through it. I'll just scan for maybe the skill set. If I don't find it in the first page, I would not go and read the 29 pages left because I have 99 other resumes to review, right? And if the 99 other reviews have the skill set that I want, then you're basically losing your chance there in the market. So making an impression there for the recruiter is also very important. So if you are applying for a position in my organization today, I would suggest you go for a one-pager, bullets, everything is bulleted. You have your contact details listed out. And if you have any skill sets which you think are apt for the particular job that you're applying for, list it out there and put everything in a left aligned in a neat manner. And if you want, you can make it like in a two-pager kind of view. But as long as it's neat, I would look into it. And if you want to put your picture up there also, that's fine. Just make your resume stand out from the remaining resumes, right? That is where that is where the recruiter gets impressed, first of all. And also no grammar mistakes, please, because you're basically, you could be a rank holder in your organization or your institution. But when you send me a resume with 10,000 grammar mistakes, I would see this and I would consider you as someone with a below average communication skill. And I cannot vouch this for, communication skill is just very crucial when you walk into an organization. So if you are someone who's struggling with language or if you have any language barriers at this point in time, go sign up for some training institutions or seek your friends' help. I think your friends can do miracles, right? So back when I studied, we had really helpful friends, even today. So even it could be any last moment help that you can ask them and they'll still get it done. So your friends are very helpful, more than you can even think of. So if you have any language barriers or anything that you think your friends might be able to help you out, go reach out to them and just get it sorted. Yeah, so language. Okay. Can you give more details on doing internship? How many internships out there are paid? Okay. So Meenakshi, what course are you pursuing? Could you tell me about that, please? I'm sorry? Psychology.
She's second year BSc Psychology.
Okay, all right. Okay, so Meenakshi, I think I did close to 6 unpaid internships before I landed up in a job. So if the question is how many internships can you do, you can do as many as you want as long as you get a job. And don't take internships for granted, right? Because these people who are hiring you as an intern, they will have contacts. So I'll tell you my personal, example. So I did MBA, right? So the course was very expensive. And by the time the placements came, Corona also came along with them, and the market collapsed. And there wasn't that many companies who walked into our institution, asking for students. So every opportunity that you can get, you can just go ahead and grab it. That's what I would suggest. So I did close to 3 internships at a time. One from Tata Steel, one from a startup here in Trivandrum, one from Object Frontier, like 3 internships at one time, and I was balancing my education as well parallel to it. So the luck factor that I had there was that everything was online because of the pandemic. So if you are in a situation like that, see what factors are in favor of you, and whatever factors are in favor, just use it for your advantage. That is what I would suggest. And the 3 internships that I did, one gave me the skill, one gave me the patience, and the other one, I just made some networks there. So if you are asking me if you can do any paid internships, don't look for money factor there, because the focus should be getting the skills and the knowledge, right? The money you can get from the job. And how do you get this job? You get this job because you do an internship. So I cannot stress this enough, but internships are very important when you're a fresher. So don't look at the money factor here. Don't look if it's a paid internship or not. Just keep doing internships. Yeah. I can also think of one instance where after my UG, I had some free time left because of some factors, and I did sign up for an internship. So it was very difficult for me, honestly, to travel that much, but it was in a special school, right? So it was fun for me. It was fun on one hand, but on the other, the learning and the outcome from the organization was pretty limited, but the exposure was good again. So take all the opportunities that you can. No, I wouldn't say take. Grab all the opportunities that you can get, because this is the time you learn. You shouldn't look for paid internships, not paid internships, good internships, bad internships, nothing like that. Whatever is available, just go ahead and grab it. Yeah. Do we have more questions?
Any other questions?
Yeah. So I think I'll reiterate that. So a resume should be 1 page. Maximum, if you want to add some little bit of information, maximum would be 2 pages, but nothing more than 2, please. So resume should be very crisp. So yeah.
Can you stress on the importance of having good communication skills, of improving your English language? Because as a student in MG College, you know that one of weak areas is that not all students have a good language. So can you motivate the students on how important it is for them and how easily they can actually achieve it? And if they have it, their opportunities are much, much more.
Yes. So I think the problem lies in how we were, taught to assume the language itself. So everyone is probably assuming that English is just one foreign language that we hear maybe on TV or maybe on news, but that's not the fact, right? When you walk into an organization, be it a corporate organization or any organization, communication skills are very crucial. I cannot stress this enough. I'm 10% sure that I have a job today because I can talk, right? Everyone has a job because they can talk. You can have all the skills in this planet. You can have 10,000 skills if you want, but if you can't put that into words and if you can't let the other person understand what you're trying to say, it just results to nothing, right? It will be a big zero there. So that is where you have to improve your communication skills. And it's not it's not like rocket science. It's not like the statistics that you learn today, right? It's very easy. As long as you want to improve yourself, it's very easy. So you can maybe talk to your family or your friends. You can, everyone's using WhatsApp these days, right? When you're texting, you can try talking in English. Or if you're communicating with another friend of yours over phone who is not very judgmental. Of course, friends can be very judgmental, and it's like a make or break there. So choose your friends wisely, and first of all, and once you have a good set of friends, and once you have friends who want to grow, who are not stagnated firstly, they should not be stagnated. They should want to improve, because otherwise they'll be like, "Aye, what is this guy Chuma talking in English?" Don't entertain friends like that. Get rid of them. I would say just cut them off your line, and keep talking as much as you can. Whenever you're bored, whatever you're doing, just keep talking in English. Watch movies, read the newspaper. Reading is very important. And you'll not know, but if you read more, you can, it gets recorded here, right? And the next time you'll start using the vocabulary. Your vocabulary can increase and improve if you start reading. You can take this from me. If you start reading, your vocabulary can really improve. And the more you talk, the more the better. And have good friends. This is the only advice I can give you when you're in your college. Your friends can sometimes demotivate you. Your friends can sometimes tell you this is not important, that is not important. They'll try to set your priorities. Don't listen to them. You know what you want in your life. You might have your own set of things which are important to you. Focus on that. If you want to be if you are looking for an entry into a corporate sector, improve your language and be presentable, basically. So even if your resume is good, even if you get to that interview, if your communication is not good, you'll get rejected. Then and there you'll get rejected. That's like the basic criteria to be eligible for a job. You need to have good communication skill. Be it whatever role that you're applying for, it's very important. So I cannot stress this enough, but communication skills are very important if you want to land in a good job. Otherwise, if you want to look for something easy, not so rewarding or anything, then if you want the easy way out of life, then you can choose to stagnate.
Thank you.
Okay, it looks like we have covered all questions. Is there any questions left? Okay, so I think we can move forward. Now I would like to call Amalindu MS, Second DC, Department of Psychology, to deliver vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, one and all. It is such an honor for me to get the opportunity to thank all the dignitaries. I would like to express my gratitude to all the esteemed delegates of the webinar for their presence and contribution to make this session a great success. I extend my gratitude to our Honorable Resource Person, Ms. Nisha Pradap, to take out time from her busy schedule to grace the event. When I was listening to her session, I understood that whatever she said, that is very much practical. Other than the theory classes, these types of sessions are really informative. Thank you, Nisha ma'am. Thanks a lot for your informative and inspiring session. Next, I would like to thank the organizing team, including the head of the Psychology Department of MG College. Last but not the least, I extend my gratitude to the audience for your cooperation in making the session a resounding success. Once again, I thank you all for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Amalindu. So participants, kindly fill the feedback form that is shared in the chat box. So our second section has come to an end. Thank you everyone for joining, and thank you Srimati Nisha Pratap for such a wonderful session.
So I've put my mail ID here in chat. If anyone has any doubts or if you guys need any support, you can reach out to me at any time.
That is shared in the chat box.
If you are looking for some kind of job or anything,
So
you can
our
refer me to me. I
last
can check
second
with my
section
friends.
has
If
come
in my
to an
if
end.
not in my organization, I can check with my
Thank you
friends.
everyone for joining, and thank
see
you
what
Nisha,
help I can do.
Srimati Nisha Pratap. Okay, ma'am.
That's a nice way of ending it. Thank you so much, Nisha. I'm sure students can get some help.
Thank you,
You just have to learn to take the opportunity, right?